Anyway, hi everyone. Waiting for everybody to join me. I was just talking to my wife. She was complaining because it cost $100 to fill up her car, which is a lot of money. And that was with regular gas, $100 to fill it up. And like I've talked about before, I have the Tesla, which really doesn't do me much good when I have 14 diesel trucks right now costing me $6,000 a week in gas. So that doesn't do me much good lately, with the price of diesel fuel. Anyway, waiting for people to join in. It's about 6 o'clock on Sunday night, doing my Sunday live, which I almost didn't do today. Not because I didn't want to, just that, that this, I think the beginning is near the end, or the end is near the beginning, whatever you want to call it, with my pain. Tuesday morning, I have a scheduled cortisone shot. I hope it works. Just the problem that I have with that is that it's a Band-Aid, right? Because in other words, it's not going to really solve the long-term problem. It just puts a Band-Aid on it, I guess, until I can solve the long-term problem, right? I've been going to physical therapy, and so that's the story with that, I appreciate everyone joining me live, okay? What I have found is lately, which is okay with me, lately I've had a couple of tenants who, will go to because I have 380 tenants now, almost 400. I just bought another building, closing in. They come on TikTok and they'll put a comment that they contacted the office about getting something repaired and this and that. And what happens is that, what's interesting is that what's interesting is that when they come on TikTok, and I'm glad they come on TikTok, like somebody obviously. So sometimes it's difficult to fix something, and that was something I was going to talk about today in my live anyway, is that, we have one tenant that a month ago said that her a ceiling tile fell out of her ceiling. It's those cardboard ceiling tiles, whatever. Well, we've been trying to get in for a month to repair them. Well, she won't let us in. I'm not home during the day. Well, that's when my maintenance guys work, So she has to trust us that we have to go in there. I have full-time maintenance guys that work for me. They're under my insurance. And they videotape the work they do. And so you know what? Sometimes we have to have cooperation on both sides. We try to do a good job. We try to, and that's where I can see where some landlords, some property owners, or whatever you want to call them, real estate investors, get frustrated with the tenants because they're trying to do the right thing, and sometimes it's inhibited, because all the, pieces have to fall into place to get a repair done or get something done, and it's frustrating. What's interesting though, what's good is that we have a good relationship with most of the building departments. And last week, that's what happened. One of the tenants, this particular one that's not letting us in their apartment for a month, called the building official and said, "Oh, my ceiling's been broken for a month." Well, I was able to send the building official the 6 notices that we've sent to the tenant. We're trying to get in to fix your ceiling, trying to get in to fix your ceiling, trying to get in. So I don't know what she's looking for, except for the fact that the day her ceiling fell down, which I believe was on, don't quote me on this, April 5th, I think the 4th of April is when we sent her the eviction notice. So her ceiling fell the day after we sent the eviction. I know, coincidence, right? But anyway, we've been trying to get the eviction. Now at this point, because she's under eviction, the building department allows us to put a stay on it. They extend the repair time until after she moves. Then we can go and we can fix the apartment, and she can go move in. Hey, what's up? How you doing, Matthew? So that's what happens. When they, I'm looking at this comment. So obviously, because you want to make an issue of it now, as I just spoke about, what happens is that when leases are up, I love to renovate the apartments and I like to make them really nice and new for new tenants, so that's the issue with that. But again, I'm not the one to talk to. Tomorrow morning, call the office and you talk to Jasmine at the office. Okay, tomorrow. Call Jasmine at the office tomorrow. I have no problem with that. and that's how we handle that. Okay, this forum is not a forum for a one-way argument with people, because there's two sides to every story. So that's why I try to share information. And again, I talk to landlords here and property owners. If you have tenants that are uncooperative, keep in mind, if you have a 1-year lease, that year goes up pretty damn quick. Okay, that year is up really quick. We try to do the best job we can. And in fact, I was talking to my wife about this earlier today. I really, when I'm in the office and there's a problem that it comes to me, like here, I will go to Andrew and I will go to Jasmine and say, what's going on? Why is this coming to me? So that's the issue with that. And then we find out what happens and what happened there. So they know that the problems can't get to me. But at the same time, I like to read, I'll go through the emails. I'll see both sides of the story. I'll see when the problem was reported to us. I'll see if we tried to get in, if we've made every attempt, if we've made an honest effort. And I'll go from there. So your landlord wants a visual walkthrough with his maintenance guy for taxes? That doesn't make sense. I will do a walkthrough once in a while if we think somebody's smoking in the apartment, somebody has somebody extra living in the apartment. We just ran into that problem the other day. We went to do a maintenance call and we found out somebody just moved in the boyfriend. What a surprise. She just signed a lease 2 months ago, right? Then what? All of a sudden now, 2 months later, she's living with a boyfriend. She's playing house. Didn't know it when she was signing a lease 2 months ago. See, it's right in our lease. Right in our lease is a whole paragraph on, hey, if you're planning on having somebody move in, notify us at the office so we can talk about how much the increased rent will be. If you don't notify us, then the rent goes up $100 a day until we can figure out whether that person's living there or not. So it kills me every single time. I happened to visit the office the other day. I haven't been in the office a lot lately because of this leg and back pain. Happened to be in the office, and what happened? I heard Andrew on actually the tenant came in to pay their rent, and Andrew was talking to them and said, well, look, you've been there 2 months and you already have somebody move in with you? The lease is fresh in their mind. 2 months. No, David, that does not sound normal for tax purposes. Doesn't sound normal. If he is being honest with you, he's doing a walkthrough to see if, you're doing something wrong, if the place is a mess, if an insurance guy wants to come through, I could see that. Sometimes the insurance agents want to do a walkthrough. On the renewal of our insurance once a year, our insurance, companies will send an inspector to do a walkthrough. That's normal. It's a pain in the neck. We try not to bother the tenants. I don't want to call the tenants and say, we're coming in. The only time that we will bother a tenant, if you want to say bother a tenant, is A, insurance inspection, if we have to have one. B, if the tenant we think had somebody move in, if we think they're smoking in the apartment, they're doing something to damage the apartment, destroying the apartment. If a smoke detector has been removed, it will notify us in the panel downstairs, then we have to get into the apartment. So that's the only time we go in the apartment. If the smoke detectors last, so in other words, if nobody fools around with the smoke detector, right, or the fire detector or the fire alarm, then we're not going to go in the apartment. So that's what happens there. So it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, right? And I'm sure that the tenants like it that way too. Hey, the landlord's not bothering me, out of sight, out of mind. So it goes both ways. Yeah, I have no problem sharing a copy of the lease. If you want to email me, I can email you a copy of our lease. I have no problem sharing a copy of our lease. Obviously, you'd have to make sure it conforms to your state's laws. But yeah, I have no problem sharing a copy of our lease. And what's interesting about the lease? Let's talk about the lease. So I've been doing this now since 1989, right? 1989, so 23 years. Do you know the lease is still a work in progress? The other day, we still had to make a change to the lease. There's always a loophole or a tenant that finds some way of squeaking by somewhere, and we always have to update the lease somehow, just to tighten up that. Because, and of course, then the good people ruin it because of the bad people that took advantage of something. So, but yeah, I have no problem sharing a copy of my lease. It's a good lease. It gets better every single time. And that's the problem with that, 33 years, yeah, I guess you're right. 1990, you're right. 33 years. And that's when I bought that building down in Patuxent Village. That's when I got the ice. That was my first ice cream shop, right? 1998. What am I saying? 1989, 1998, right? Yeah, 1998. What the hell am I thinking? So I bought it 3 years after I started the audiovisual business. So 1998. So it was 23 years. But you're right. I did say 1998. So let's talk about this pain. So Tuesday morning, I'm getting a cortisone shot. I think that's why I've been so distracted too lately. Because the pain, it just comes and it goes, it gets worse, it gets bad. So it's always there 24 hours a day. Sometimes it's light, it's a 3 or a 4 out of 10, right? At night, it's a 10, sometimes an 11. But Tuesday morning, I get a cortisone shot, but I'm not really, so I'm optimistic that it's going to relieve the pain, but I'm not optimistic it's going to be a long-term solution. I have to solve this problem. And what's weird about the pain is, so the pain is in my muscles, right? But what's really weird is my whole leg once in a while is sensitive. It feels like sunburn. My whole leg the skin is sensitive to the touch. I don't know if anyone's ever had this before, but that's, so like if I wear pants or have my blanket on at night, it's unbelievable. I have to take it off because it's touching my skin and it's irritating me. Anyway, but anyway, so that's the story, so that's the story, that the lease is always an ongoing thing. The other thing that happens is when we buy property, right? So when we buy rental property, there's existing tenants. There's another, like I said, it's always in motion how we want to handle the transition of the previous tenants to us. It's always something that's in motion. What I mean by that is, hold on, excuse me 1 second, because the dog came in the back door and is scratching at the door. So, my interrupted lives, right? My interrupted lives, So it's always a transition. So what happens is we bought a building that we're supposed to be closing on this week. So we asked for a copy of the leases, the 6 leases. Well, there's only 4 tenants in the building. Today is I'll say as of Friday the 13th, none of them had paid their rent yet this month. So what does that tell me? Well, obviously the building's been poorly managed, unfortunately. But in this case, I'm trying something different. I am planning on having my staff go to the building before I close this week, knocking on doors, meeting every single one of those tenants, getting their information out and fill out our application, ask them why they haven't paid yet this month. I want to know. And if I delay the closing, I have to delay the closing. But, you think that the seller would be like, hey, I want to make sure that this guy, gets the tenants. And so, you know what? We're going to try something different this time. Usually I just take the mess and deal with it because I'll tell you why. If we knock on the doors and we can't get hold of the tenants, then if I close on Wednesday, Thursday they're all getting eviction notices, and I'll just rip the Band-Aid off, like Angel says, and start fresh with all new tenants. So I'm trying it a little different this time on the closing of this property this week, and see how that works. So I know. User 4339. I hope I feel better too. And I know I'm on here whining and complaining about this pain for 3 months now. It's going on for 3 months. It came out of the blue. It's going on for 3 months. And like I said, I'm an active person, normally active, moving around, running around. I have a busy week this week, so I'm kind of not looking forward to being in pain or being distracted. I call it more of a distraction because I really need to live my life and, manage my businesses and move forward. And this pain is bad. So somebody has suggested buy an inversion table. So I did. I bought an inversion table and I've tried it. It doesn't seem to work, but I don't know if it's more because the inversion table is designed to straighten out your spine, which my spine is fine. I have muscular issues. So I don't know if that's why it's not working for me. I can't say I overexerted my muscles in any way. I didn't do anything crazy. But it's just very strange that all of a sudden I have this pain for 3 months. I got to get over it. But anyway, listen, today that could be true about the constant pain. That could be true. Okay, that could be true. So, can't argue with you there. But by the way, I put a TikTok up earlier today. Last night we went to speaking of marriage, my wife's boss. So he does stand-up comedy as an amateur, but he's very good actually. So they have this local every 3 or 4 months they have this local amateur comedy night. So they'll have like 10 or 12 amateur comedians and I'll have like 3, regional professional comedians come in. So we went last night, and I put the TikTok up earlier today, Evan, and he was pretty funny. He was very funny. He did some new material on Christopher Columbus and on the traffic lights in the city of Warwick. It happened to be in Warwick, where we were for the comedy last night. So I did a TikTok on that. So I did put that up there, and it was very good. Hey, Make Money, how you doing? How's it going? Thanks for joining. But anyway, so the pain is such a distraction. I found that's a distraction that I don't know if it's gets my stomach upset or whatever it is, but it's just it gets you upset. It's just, but I don't know if it's because I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm just not getting enough sleep. I fall asleep around 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. I'll sleep for 2.5 hours. Then I wake up and that's it for the night. That's all I can get. And I lay in bed and I turn over and this and that. But Makes Money, I'm glad to see you on here tonight, and I want to welcome you to my live tonight, my Sunday night live. But anyway, so I did put TikTok up earlier. So that's true. Make Money, in all caps. Makes Money is excited tonight. I don't blame you. So, by the way, I got to tell everyone a funny story. So everyone knows, or if you remember last week, I talked about the Kentucky Derby, how I won the money at the Kentucky Derby. So I withdrew all the money I won, but I left $100 in this account, okay? Twin Spires is the name of the account, by the way. It's an app that you can download, and you can bet on horse races all over the world. I thought it was just the Kentucky Derby, but no, after the fact, I realized you can bet on races all over the world, and Churchill Downs continually has races and stuff. So I had never bet on a horse in my life, but I had left $100 in the app. When I withdrew all my money, I left $100. So again, I haven't been feeling well. So yesterday I'm laying on the couch, and you can bet as little as $1. So, I don't know any of these horses. I don't know any of these races. Well, I bet $1 yesterday on a race, and I won 60 cents. So that was pretty good. And it's just funny that you can bet on all these races all over the world, and not just in the United States. And but anyway, so I bet $1. I had $1 left in there. So races, my bets. So if I look at my ended bets, oh, so okay, so it only lasts 24 hours. But anyway, I did win 60 cents yesterday. So I guess I got him to show, the horse I picked to show. So what tests have they done so far? So I had x-rays done. I had an MRI done. And that's it for those tests. Of course, blood tests, so that we know there's nothing else wrong with me. So they've done those tests. And of course, I've been going to physical therapy. Now, the physical therapy, it's weird. I feel like it works, but here's what happens. I go there during the day to physical therapy. So I have my physical therapy, say 12. I went Thursday, I happened to go 12 noon. So she does her stretching, twists my leg all different ways, right, my back. I leave there. I am loose. I'm loose till 5, 6 o'clock. Then the pain comes back, slowly comes back, and at midnight it hits me like a vengeance. It hits me worse than it ever did before, And then over the weekend, it's kind of slowly subsided. And guess what? I get to go again tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, I think I'm going at 2:30. But then Tuesday morning, I'm getting the cortisone shot, and then I'll keep going to physical therapy. So I think the physical therapy is working. It's just weird because it kills me right after I get it. But then it seems that the pain seems to be going away a little. I think I get like a few hours where it's like, oh, all right, I feel pretty good, where the pain's like a 2. It hasn't been a 2 in a month. So that's the story with that. So, but yeah, I've been going to physical therapy twice a week. I've been going twice a week. Yeah, you're not happy about the Bruins? Makes money, Jeff. But yeah, so I go to physical therapy twice a week, and like I said, the physical therapist is very good. And I go right here in Cranston, and she's very good. I mean, like I said, well, when I say she's very good, so I go in the physical therapist office, and it's a very busy place, and I happen to have the owner is actually the one who's working with me. So I go in there, and the waiting room is full of people, mostly older people, elderly, whatever people. I'm 57. I'm the youngest one in the waiting room, right? So she comes out Thursday and she says, Jeff, your turn. So I'm like, Nah, I don't think so. You hurt me the last time. So she goes, you're not supposed to say that. I'm joking around. But I lay on my stomach, and she'll take my leg and she'll bring it weight because it's my IT band. I'm learning so much about myself. IT band, I guess, is all tight. So that's what she worked on Thursday. And she brings my leg up and stretches it. It's painful. The other thing she did, she took her elbow and put it in my butt and found another painful spot that I have right in the middle of my butt. So I got issues, that's for sure. But I think it's, like I said, I think the beginning of the end is almost between the cortisone shot, because then at least that way I'll be able to live my life, I think, a lot freer or more comfortable, you know? That's part of the problem there. But anyway, the new ice cream shop opened last week. Want to talk about that? So the Hershey store opened last Friday night, and it was open every day this week. Of course, the beginning of the week was a little cool, cloudy. But each day this week has done a little bit better in sales. Yesterday, it did over $600, which is, you know, for a seasonal ice cream shop, for its first season being open for 8 days, I'm pretty optimistic about that number. It can if I do that number every day for the summer, is the store making money? Not enough to really to make it worth it year round, because again, it's a seasonal business. We close in October, so I need to make sure I make enough money in the summer to cover the taxes, insurance, rent, electricity, everything for the winter. But you know what though? I'm optimistic, because when I look back at other stores I opened up, they didn't do that well as quickly as this did. So that's the story with that. You know, talking about like profit margins and stuff like that. Well, on a Saturday, you know, my labor cost is a couple $100. You know, you get electricity cost is probably about $50 for the day. Insurance, you're probably looking at about, you know, $10 a day. So that's how we're trying to figure. And of course, you have to buy the ice cream, right? So out of the $600 yesterday, profit was probably about $150. Now, where it changes is, say I do $800, but I have the same staff. Well, the staff is now a fixed cost, right, at $200. So now the $200 that I made, that extra $200, all I'm paying for is the ice cream that I sold. So there's more profit margin the more you do. So, well, you know, I'm going to share those numbers with people. That way people know how an ice cream shop can operate. People ask me, you know, is there a lot of money in ice cream? It's a great well, of course, you have multiple stores, there's a lot of money in it. But if you have one store, it's a great part-time extra business to own. If you want to own a little part-time summer job, you know, I see a lot of teachers seem to own ice cream shops, or seasonal, you know, people that work seasonally own ice cream shops. If you know, it's mom and pop, if you want to call them mom and pop ice cream shops. You know, of course, I pay people to work in my stores. If I owned one store and I didn't have any other job and I worked there myself, well, obviously I'd be paying myself to work there. So there's more profit there too. So that's something to keep in mind too. That's why a family-owned ice cream shop, where you actually have your kids in there, your wife's working there. A friend of mine owns an ice cream shop. His wife actually manages the ice cream shop, and they have kids that their children work there, and they also hire, you know, the kids obviously. The ice cream shop, and they have kids that their children work there, and they also hire, you know, the kids obviously. So they see the most profit because the profit goes right back to the family. In my case, you know, I do have my son who works at the ice cream shop, but because I have 4 ice cream shops, you know, I'm paying other people to. Do have my son who works at the ice cream shop, but because I have 4 ice cream shops, you know, I'm paying other people to manage and run those stores. So what I do is I factor in the rent. So in this particular building, I own the building, but I do factor in rent because my goal is to sell this store one day and have a tenant. So it's very important that I pay myself rent. So that way, if I turn around and sell the business to somebody else, they can see, okay, paying $1,000 a month in rent, this is how much the store can make. It is not fair to a buyer or to anybody else if I don't factor in the cost of the rent. That's why I say taxes, insurance, because those are all expenses that anybody else would have. So yes, I do factor in the cost of the building, the rent on the building. So my rent is $1,000 a month. So you can divide that up by, you know, 30 days, was that about $33 a day towards rent, right? During the day, the store's open, you know, 2 to 10 right now, 7 hours a day. You're paying $13 an hour roughly. You have one person on during the week, so it's about $100 a day during the week, Monday through Friday. Well, Monday through Thursday. Friday we'll have 2 people on. In this particular new store, my other stores, I have, on the weekends, I have 3 and 4 people on because they're so busy. This store is growing, and you don't know how well it's going to do. So you try to staff it where you have enough staff to make, keep the customers happy. The last thing you want to do is have customers walk away because you don't have enough people on. That can be frustrating for customers. But yeah. I think I might do that. So we're going to be doing that contest at the Hershey store. Why? Because nobody knows the Hershey flavors, right? So I will be doing another one's contest. Plus, it will help promote the Hershey store. So I'll do that on Facebook Live. And of course, I'll do a TikTok. Actually, I can do TikTok Live too, for that matter, for the contest. But yeah, we plan on doing that. So with the new store, we want to do a lot of promotions. And what's nice is when I promote one store, it really does promote all 4 stores, because people go on and look and they see, okay, Hershey's, Dear Hearts, it's the same company. So that's what happens. Is that today makes money? That's unfortunate. Is that going on right now? That's really unfortunate. That's happening. These people trying to get their 15 minutes of fame, and that's what's going on, and it's really disgusting. Oh yeah, I see that. Yep, that's really, really too bad. These people trying to get their 15 minutes of fame by doing this killing and stuff. It's awful. And I know people are like, oh, what kind of upbringing then? Where they come from? Well, you don't know both sides of the story. You don't know the circumstances behind it. All we do know is it's disgusting, because this is a way, rather than doing something positive to get their 15 minutes of fame, they're doing something negative. And that's the problem that I have with it. Rather than looking at a positive, event, something fun to do, something positive, do something, whatever. They do this to get their 15 minutes of fame, and it's a shame, because that's it. They've ruined their life, they ruined their family's life, whatever. So that's too bad. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now on my iPad. Yeah, I see that. That's really too bad. And then of course the Buffalo one the other day. It's awful. It's just really, really, it's just really, really a sad situation where this keeps happening. And, you got to look back. Where are we going wrong? Society, where are we going wrong? Where these, I say kids, I don't know if they are young adults, whatever is, or whoever older does, that do this, where are they going wrong? Where are we going wrong with them to do this stuff? Is it discipline? Is it not discipline? I tend to think, my personal opinion is that's what it is. My personal opinion is that, these kids are coddled now. They're spoiled rotten. And God forbid you use the word no to a kid. And the first time you tell them no, they could be 22 years old. They grew up, parents as well. Again, I'm just generalizing here. Parents don't say no to their kids, right? Now the kids go out into the real world and somebody says, no, their new boss, no, you can't do that. No, you can't have that day off. No, you can't be on your phone. No. All of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, because they've never heard that word no before. The head spins around, just like poltergeist, right? With these spoiled, rotten kids. That's what happens. The first time in the world they hear the word no, that's it. They go to school, right? So they're at home, spoiled, rotten. They go to school. Right? Teacher tells them no. They lose their mind to the teacher. Things like that. That's the only thing I can picture, stuff like that. And again, I'm generalizing and I'm speculating, and I shouldn't be doing that, but in more times, I do believe that is the case. A lot of times, it's just that there's no shame anymore. There's a lot of parents that don't say to their kids, "No, you can't do that. That's embarrassing. That's shameful. You cannot do that. You represent this family." Parents are afraid to say that to their kid because the kid might have a tantrum. And I'm talking about 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds. I'm not talking about 5-year-olds who should have a tantrum when you say no to them to teach them a lesson, right? So that's a shame. We'll have to see obviously it's breaking news now. We'll have to see what happens with that. But, yeah, so that's true. It's true. I mean, listen, growing up, my parents, my father, they used corporal punishment with us growing up, 5 boys. And that's the way it was. I went to a parochial school for a few years, and the nuns were, they were tough. And, and I remember one time I broke the shade in the classroom, and I got in trouble for that. And I go home. My parents didn't call the school and yell at the teacher and the principal for giving me detention, yelling at me and hitting me with the ruler. They hit me twice as hard and grounded me. That's how it was back then. Now the parents call the lawyers and this and that, and it's ridiculous. That's a lot of the problem now too. You know what I'm saying? That, the parents don't say to the kids, go to school, you respect your teacher. Go to school. No, the parents argue with the teachers. The teachers are wrong. The teachers, and that's a problem too. Yeah, when I went to school, I hated a lot of my teachers. I couldn't stand a lot of my teachers. It was a luck of the draw. Some years I got good teachers. Some years I got shit teachers, right? I mean, and what do? You remember the great teachers and you remember the shit teachers, right? I can remember my shit teachers right now to this day, right? 50 years later. But that's how it was. It wasn't where you could go and ask for a new teacher or whatever, so that's the problem. That's part of, I think, the problem has gotten out of control, in my opinion. Of course, it's always my opinion. So I might get people that get offended with me, but again, that's my opinion. So, and you're welcome to your opinion. I will never, ever, ever put anybody down, call them names for giving their opinion. Though it's funny on a lot of my TikToks, if I give an opinion, you'll see people will call me names, Why? Why? Give me your opinion. Give me your side. I'm not going to, So... Oh, yeah, the old barbershop belt. Yep, very familiar with that. Absolutely. No, you're right. Makes money. That's what happened, and that's how it used to be. But you know what? And of course, back then it was terrible and awful, but now I'm saying, hey, you know what? I'm glad, right? I'm glad because when I look at some of the way that people have grown up, people I knew grew up, and as we can see what's going on in the news today, how people are brought up and what's going on, it's unbelievable, Anyway, so that's the story with that. So the new ice cream shop's open. It's been open for a week. Picnic tables came in on Thursday. We had those set up. The store looks really nice. I'm hoping that tomorrow or Tuesday I'll have some time. I'm going to start going around with the new drone and taking some video and pictures of all of my properties. That way, when I talk about a piece of property, I can actually show it. I got a big screen I'm going to set behind me, and I can show it during my lives. We can talk. You can ask me questions about the different properties, and so that's what I'm going to start doing this week. But I want to get some video of the ice cream shop anyway, so I can start doing some more advertising on Facebook. I've talked about this. I do a lot of advertising on Facebook. Now, the reason why I do advertising on Facebook is Facebook, you can pick a geographic area. Ice cream shops are local. They are not. I'm not going to advertise in Boston for my ice cream shop in Warwick, even like on TikTok. Why am I going to advertise in California for my ice cream shop in Cranston, right? So I'm going to do Facebook. You can pick the geographic area and how many people you want to reach in the amount. The cost is it's cost effective. So I've had very good luck on Facebook. So I will continue to do the advertising on Facebook. So that's what I'm going to do this week with the new ice cream shop. But again, what I do is I cross advertise. I can advertise all 4 stores because the geographic area is just in 2 cities or 3 cities. So good question about the 5th business. I'm going to be talking about that this week. Okay. Didn't start it yet. Oops, did I bump? I'm sorry about the microphone button. I didn't start it yet, but yes, I'll be doing some talking about that this week. And actually, I thought about it. Actually, it's really going to be a 6th business because we're buying that piece of property that's coming with the car lot, and we're going to be taking that over. But then, yes, I have another business that I'm going to be working on this week, and I'll be talking about that. And I have to be careful because there's some competition in that particular one, so I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. That's the only reason why I haven't said anything, by the way. So business is business, right? So, of course, if you're starting a business or you're going to be buying a business, whatever it may be, you don't want to let the competition in that business know what's going on. So you keep it a secret till after the contracts are signed and after you own the business and after you start the business. Then you don't mind letting the cat out of the bag because you want to market your own business, right? So that's the story with that. So there'll be, over the next few days, by Wednesday, there'll be some Wednesday night, Thursday, when there'll be some talk about that. The waste business. So the waste business in the last couple of months started being profitable, right? Just broke the threshold after a year and a half of being profitable, which is really good. In a year and a half to have a business make money. Of course, now the diesel fuel went up, and guess what? Now I'm back to losing money again. That's how on the line we're on the cusp we were, right? So yesterday and today, Nicole, who manages that business, and one of the drivers, they got together and they're consolidating the routes. By consolidating the routes, they can cut down on the distances the trucks drive during the day, hence saving money on fuel. So that was great. They offered to do that. I appreciate that. You have to look at every way of saving money, right? So that's what they're doing, consolidating the routes, shorten the routes. Now, not only do you shorten the routes, but that cuts down on overtime, labor, right, and on gas. So it's two ways we're going to save money over the next few weeks by consolidating the routes in the waste company. So that's a great thing. Yeah, no, we don't take PayPal for rent in our business just for that reason, believe it or not, and credit cards. We also don't take credit cards for rent. So that's a good point that you just brought up, DJ. Now, the tenant that moved out and filed the fraud claim, now what stinks about it is obviously they're the ones who committed fraud because they clearly paid their rent in good faith and they planned on defrauding you out of the money. You can actually file a suit against them, and you should. It's a pain. It costs money, and to avoid that, you're right. Don't take PayPal. Don't take credit cards, and that's why I don't like even using the Cash App for that reason. Zelle is one way. They can't dispute Zelle, and that's why we and of course they can't dispute cash. And they can't dispute certified checks or bank checks. But yes, as a landlord, I'm glad you brought that up. That's an excellent point. I always tell my friends that are landlords, do not take credit cards or PayPal or any type of third-party app where the tenants can commit the fraud and file a claim. That's a bad thing. But again, when they do that, that's willful. In other words, they knew they were moving out and they paid with PayPal to file a fraud claim. That's willful. And of course, PayPal, I know over the years with dealing with PayPal with eBay, it's 50-50 whether you win a claim, a dispute with PayPal or not. It's very difficult as a merchant, as the one who got the money, to win a claim, but you do have to fight it. And you do have to show that they were a tenant and that they if they had a lease from month to month, you can show them the laws of your state. You might win that one with PayPal, but to avoid all that, just don't even take it from now on. That's kind of a no-brainer, but not really, because landlords, property owners are so happy to get their rent, they don't care which way they get it. But it's a nail biter when they pay with PayPal, because you're right, they have, I think, with 3 months to dispute if they want. So if they move out within those 3 months, that's a problem. So, that's a great question about how do I handle it when people say the ice cream is no good. I want a refund. It's always the same people. So I'm going to tell you a story about that. And again, you learn by your mistakes. You learn by problems in the ice cream shops. You learn by bad customers ruining it for the good customers, right? So about 10 years ago, this is an ice cream shop I had up in Smithfield, Rhode Island. I've sold it since I still own the building. There's a family that runs the ice cream shop, and I had sold it only because it's about a half hour away from me, so it was out of my comfort zone to manage the ice cream shop. But anyway, I had the ice cream shop. It was the first season it was open. And so what happened was the girl that was working, and again, it's not their fault because they don't know. In fact, it's disgusting to me when adults come in and take advantage of 15 and 16-year-old kids. It's devastating to them when they find out that they got screwed by an adult, okay? So here's what happened. This lady came in her 40s. She says to the girl, last night we came in here, we got 4 banana splits, and the ice cream was all bad. So I called today, and they told me I could come in and get 4 new banana splits. Well, the cashier believed the lady and handed her 4 banana splits, and the lady left. Now, since then, we have digital cash registers. We don't sell 4 banana splits in one seating. I can't, in fact, probably since that time, we haven't sold 4 in one seating, okay? So now we can go back and we can look at the sales. I can actually do a search, and I can look at sales the day before and see if somebody actually bought 4 banana splits. But here's how we handle it now at the store. They come in and they do something like that. Give me your name and number, and because the only one that can refund your money is the owner. Give me your name, your phone number, and here's our corporate office number for tomorrow. You can call our office tomorrow, or the owner will call you back tomorrow. Nope, that's not good enough. I want my money tonight. I'm sorry. I'm only allowed to give out the name and number to the office, or I will take your name and number, and you can talk to the owner. Since then, it's probably happened maybe 10 times in thousands of customers, right? And it's always the ones that yell and scream the most that are the ones that are being unlawful, untruthful, immoral, unethical, scumbags. So what happens is that when they start getting loud in front of the other customers, they'll call me and say, look, put me on the phone with them. And I tell them, look, you have a choice. I can call the police right now on my other phone, and they will show up there, and they're not going to tell us to give you your money back. They're going to tell you have to take us to court. Or you can call me tomorrow. We'll discuss it tomorrow like adults, and I'll send you a gift card or a coupon or whatever it may be. But I need to know what you ordered, when you ordered it, because I like to go through, because I can look at the cameras. So that's the other thing that we do. Now that we have the cameras that record everything, I'll look at the cameras, and I'll give them a refund if a refund's necessary. But it's since we've started that policy, maybe 10 times, but maybe actually 4 were legit, where somebody said, they bought an ice cream. And, now more times than not, we give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Because it's not worth it for $10 to lose a customer, right? Yeah, no problem. I'll send you a $10 gift card. It's not worth it. So that's how we handle it. But the employees know they are not to give refunds in the stores. They're not allowed to give refunds in the stores for that reason. We need to talk to the customer, find out what happened, what's the circumstances behind asking for the refund. Now, the one time they can give a refund, or the times they can give a refund, if they actually charge a card by accident, say they charge them for 4 cones, only 3, well then yes, obviously they refund them for the cone right then and there. So that's when they can give a refund to a customer if there's a mistake on the charge. That's the only time they can give a refund, obviously, because the customer deserves a refund. But other than that, like the old ice cream being bad, or I didn't like the flavor of ice cream, we always send a gift card or a coupon. And the reason we go through the corporate office for it is because I have 4 stores, right? So we don't want somebody jumping from one store to the other store, right? Taking advantage. So by going through the corporate office, we keep a log of who called, what the problem was, and that avoids that. That avoids that problem. So that's how we handle it. It seems to be the best way to handle it. I'm sure there are other people that handle it so much differently and maybe different way, but for me, it's worked out that way. I'll talk about unhappy customers. So my busiest store is my Warwick West Shore Road store. It's the busiest store. So last year, of course, it's open year-round, right? So we'll talk about 2021. I won't even talk about January 2020. 2021. That store had 76,000 customers. Now, some of those could have come back once or twice, 3 times, 10 times, right? 76,000 customers. We only had 3 complaints the whole season. Now, one of those complaints was their ice cream melted too fast. That was one of those Google ridiculous complaints. So I don't like getting any negative complaints, but out of 76,000 customers, 3 complaints, that's not even a percent. That's a 0.1%. So I like to take them all seriously. I like to use it as a training tool for my staff every year. In fact, I talked about this, what I've been doing now. I started it last year. It was Tim's idea, great idea. I actually do 1-minute short video, training videos for the staff. So for instance, I got to do one tonight, and I'm going to do a training video, and what I do is I email it to the whole staff. So they get the video, they watch the video. Rather than reading a text from me or an email, they can watch my lovely, beautiful face, my bald head, giving them an instruction how to close the store at night, or how to close the register, or even talking about the refunds. And that's how we get the message out to all the staff. We now have almost 50 staff right now at the ice cream shops. So the easiest way, or actually almost 60 now with the 4th store, the easiest way for me to get the consistent message out to my staff. And I thought about it, whether I had 1 store or 4, this is the best way to do it, because it's a video, it lasts forever, right? So I never age in it, kind of like a porn video, I guess, right? So I never age in it. And not that I've done one or seen one, I'm just using it as an example. So what happens is I can then say to do the video, and I can use that year after year after year, because it's the same training. The training doesn't change, right? So that's what I do with that. So 3 earthquakes in Narragansett Bay today. Where do you see your news makes money? You're funny. I got to go look on the Channel 12 app, right? Makes money is a wealth of knowledge. You are a wealth of knowledge. Oh, it's under the water? In the water? Well, I believe that. Let's see. Let's see. see. I didn't see it, but maybe I might be on the wrong app or something. Anyway, so getting back to the ice cream shops, yeah. So that's how I do my training now. I do it on video, just like I do now. I'll make a short video and I email it to them. And the staff can watch the video. For instance, so I have a rule at night called the 10-minute rule. I will tell everybody about the 10-minute rule. People that own a seasonal business might appreciate this. And if you've never owned a business, but you go out for ice cream at night, you might appreciate this. So the ice cream business is very seasonal, right? And it's based on weather. If you have a 60-degree, 55, 60-degree night, well, the customers are going to wean off by the time we close at 10 o'clock, right? They're going to wean off anyway. But if I have a 75, 80-degree, beautiful, clear night out there, like last night is a good example, 10 o'clock comes, I'll have 4 or 5 people still in line. Well, the rule is they don't close the window, say we're closed, or tell people, I'm sorry, Nick, closed. If people pull in, sorry, we're closed. I have a rule called the 10-minute rule. And what that is that they have to wait on every single customer that comes to that window, even if it's 20 past 10, 25 minutes past 10, they have to wait on those customers. Then they have to wait 10 more minutes before they can close. If a customer doesn't come in 10 minutes, they can close. If a customer comes, they have to wait on that customer and the clock starts ticking again. Now, the reason why that's important is this. If an average sale is $9, which an average sale is $9, just take my word for it, and you have 10 customers come after 10 o'clock, do the math. That's an extra $100 in sales, right? Between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. In the summer, in the summer nights, the beautiful nights, that's when you make your extra money. So you have to take advantage of it. We're not selling washers and dryers or refrigerators where you just close the doors at 9 o'clock and that's it. Our business is a weather-related seasonal business. People are out driving around. People are out driving around at night. They're looking for something to do. They want to get a treat. They want to get ice cream. They might go out at 10 o'clock, a nice warm night driving around. So I know the argument is, okay, when do the kids get to go home? The kids get to go home after they punch out, made their hourly wage and all the tips they made, right? Right? That's how it works. They're making the hourly wage and they're making tips. So that's my rule. It's called the 10-minute rule. I've done it since I've owned the stores. You know, we toyed with, okay, what do you just stay open till 10:30? Stay open till 11. You know, that's an option too. But then on a night that it's cold and miserable, now you're paying people to stay at the store for no reason. But what we do is this. With the 10-minute rule, we'll have one person waiting on the customers and the other people can start cleaning the store, getting the store ready to close. So they do save time that way. But the 10-minute rule helps the stores make thousands of dollars extra in the summer to help cover those costs in the winter. And plus, it's profit. So that's the 10-minute rule. And I do a video on that every year, and I let the employees know that because they forget about it year after year. They'll forget about the 10-minute rule. Next thing you know, I'll go on the cameras. It'll be 10 o'clock with a line. I'll see them shut the window. That's the other thing, too. So let me tell you about all the tricks, right? So when I only hired girls, because at one point we only had females working at the stores, so the boyfriends would come to pick them up at 10 o'clock, right? So the boyfriends are sitting in their car. The girl wants to get the hell out of the store, right? So what they'll do is 10:15, they'll turn the lights off outside. That gives people pulling the parking lot the hint, hey, don't come here. We're closing. F you, I'm going out with my boyfriend. That's grounds for firing. The store closes at 10. The lights stay until 10. The windows stay open until 10. The trash can stays out till 10. You do not make a move to make that store look closed until it's time to close. And that is grounds for firing. And that's been an issue throughout the years. Same with the parents picking up the kids. We always tell the kids, look, when you close the store, it's going to take a good 15 to 20 minutes to at least count the money, clean the store, throw away the garbage, restock the items. It's going to take 15, 20 minutes. Nobody lives more than 15 minutes or 20 minutes away from the store. So I always suggest to the kids, call your parents when the store closes and let them know, I just closed. I'll be out in 15 minutes. Because they are going to be out in 15 minutes. Don't make your parents come there and sit in the parking lot for 20 minutes, a half hour. As a parent, that aggravates me. You know, my son works at the ice cream shop, right? Same to me. I'll go there at 10 o'clock. What am I thinking? He has to clean the store, right? So we have the rule with him. You call us when you close the store. Of course, I know when they close the store anyway, because when they close the register, when they put you out, I get an email. Register was closed at 10:03, 10:05, 10:15. I get an email from Square, and it tells me how much the store did that day, too. So that's why Square is such a great app. I don't have to log in. I get an email with the totals. So So again, owning an ice cream shop is not as easy, or seasonal, but it's not as easy. People think, oh, you scoop ice cream, you hit the customer, they give you money, they throw money at you. They just throw money at you. They love you. No, there's a lot to it. There's a lot behind the scenes that goes into it. Staffing the stores, make sure they're staffed correctly. But also, I mean, and like I said, we're hiring 14 and a half and 15-year-old kids, right? So, for instance, last week, I go on the camera last week, the new store, right? I think it was Monday night. 8 o'clock at night. So I go on there 8 o'clock at night. Now, we keep the shifts short for the high school kids, 3-hour shifts. We do 2 o'clock to 5, 5 to 8, or 2 to 5:30, 5:30 to 9. We keep them 3 hours, maximum 4-hour shifts, right? Because the kids have school the next day, of course, until June, once June comes. I know I'm babbling on, but I want to share this information. So anyway, they work short shifts. They can eat their dinner before they come to work, after they go home, right? 8 o'clock at night, I go on there, and there's 2 people sitting in the store at the freezer and they're eating pizza. That's weird. I know I only have one person on, so I called Tim up. I said, Tim, do you have 2 people on tonight? Anybody training? He goes, no. I said, well, go on the camera and tell me. So he texts me after. He goes, I took care of that. They had their friend bring them pizza. You would think, being an adult, that they would know that that's wrong, but they don't, because they're kids. It's their first job. We don't get mad at them. It's training. It's teaching, okay? It's really about training the 14 and a half, 15-year-old kids. It's teaching them their first job, their first responsibility in life. There's no reason to yell at them. We just say, no, listen, you really can't have somebody there. It looks bad. The customer comes to the window, they see you eating there, sitting there eating. Of course, you can eat before you came in. You came in at 5:30. You could have eaten there. You're leaving at 9. You could eat then. So that's what we do there. The store's open now. So right now, this time of year, the store's open during the week, Monday through Friday at 2 o'clock. Now, for a couple of reasons. One is it's hard to find, the college kids are not home yet. The high school kids are still in school, right? So you don't have anybody to open up before 12. We do have a couple of managers that are available to open up before 12, to open up at 12. But right now, we open up at 12 on Saturdays and Sundays. What we did is during April vacation, we opened up at 12 o'clock because the kids were out of school. As soon as the college kids, over the next week or 2, our college staff will be available. We will start opening up the stores at 12 noon. I like to open up at 12 noon. In the summer, I open up at 11:45. So when I say the summer, June. So in June, we'll start opening up at 11:45. And I'll open up in like 11:45 till 10, so it'll be 10-hour days. But right now it's 2 o'clock. Now, can we get them open at 2? No, we try to. So what the schedule says is 2 o'clock or as close to it as possible with the kids getting there from school. For instance, my son gets out of school at 2 o'clock. So I'll pick him up at 2 o'clock. I drive him to the store. We can't get to the store till 10 past 2. He runs around, turns all the machines on, gets open about 20 past 2 once he fills the register up. Now, why do I want to open it up then? People say, why do you have to rush to open up the stores at 2 o'clock? That's because who goes to get ice cream in the afternoon? The parents pick up their kids at elementary and middle school and take them out for ice cream. So if you look at our records year after year after year, it doesn't change. It's etched in stone. It's great. You will see from 2:30 to 4 o'clock, we do this, right? And then 4:30 to 6:30, it's like this, and it goes up again. It's a nice curve. Why? Because it's dinner time. So if you open up at 3:30, that's a little late. You might as well not open the store. You might as well just wait till 5:30 to open up, right? So the goal is to get it open as early as possible in the afternoon, serve those customers, the middle school kids, the elementary school kids, the families that want to come in and get an afternoon treat. They go home and they have dinner. And of course, then at nighttime, you're real busy because all the families are out getting ice cream. So there's a whole thing to ice cream, to the business. There's a whole reason why we open up as early as possible, right? During the summer, we open up at 11:45 because people take their lunch breaks. We have Dell's Lemonade. It's hot during the day. People want to drink Dell's Lemonade during the day or have ice cream, whatever it may be. So that's why in the summer, of course, we open up at 11:45. So that's the way the whole schedule thing works. There's a lot to it. It's not as easy as you think. But once you get it down, I got one for you. So the Hershey store that I'm operating this year, the new Hershey store that opened last week, somebody else ran that store for the last 15 years. I own the building. And so when I sold the store way back when, in fact, I've done TikToks. If you go on my early TikToks, the lady that sued me for the $350,000, that was the store that I sold for $25,000, where she sued me for $350,000. Of course, she lost every bit of the suit, wasted a ton of money. She had a joke of a lawyer. She was a joke. The point is, that was the store. So I had sold the store to her. She ran it into the ground, and then tried to sue me like it was my fault. Then I sold it to this other family who ran it for years. They ran it 6, 7 years. They were from Turkey, actually. The family's from Turkey. They moved back to Turkey like 3 years ago. They sold the store to another family who ran it the last 3 years. They didn't call it the Arts. They all had their own names for the store. They called it whatever, which was fine. The problem is that the people that ran it last year did a shit job running it. Now, the building where it's in is 2 buildings up from my office. So we drive by it every day. So it was weird because the store was closed half the time. Here's what the weird part was. They had mannequins. They had 2 mannequins that they used to put in front of the store to make it look like they were customers. That way when people drove up the road, they thought they were customers and they'd get out of their car and go in the store. The problem is that they would leave the mannequins inside the store at the window. So they'd be closed and people would pull in the parking lot, go up to the window, and realize that they were duped. That's a mannequin in front of the window. Do you know how that pisses people off? That was a negative for them. That was a negative for the store. So the other day I dropped Benjamin, my son, worked at the store last week. So I brought him there. I think it was on Thursday. So this lady came up to the window. He had just opened up. It was 2:15. And a lady came up to the window. She goes, "Oh, I'm so happy you're open. This store was never open last year. So I'm glad you said it." I said, "Yeah, they didn't really." And they didn't. What was weird about those people last year is this. They would open up if it was a full sunny day and it was 70 degrees or more out. You can't do that. When you open up for the season, you have to be open from the day you open to the day you close in October. And you have to be open the hours that you advertise. You cannot confuse the customers. Do you know how frustrating it is confusing the customers? Think about you people during COVID. You remember like the stores at all the regular stores, Home Depot, Best Buy, had short hours. I used to get frustrated. I want to go to Best Buy. They were closed at 5 o'clock at night. So think about how that aggravates the customers in a seasonal business. You piss them off at the beginning of the season, you're not going to get them back because ice cream is a local business, there is competition. I have competition for my stores. I have competition. So if I piss them off, they'll just go to a competitor, and you don't want that. You want every customer's on. Yes. So good question, Frank. Yes, the employees do keep all their tips, which is a great thing because, we're talking 14 and a half, 15-year-old kids. It's funny because even at 14 and a half and 15, they've learned just like the older adults to lie about how much their tips are. But we can see on the cameras how much they get in tips, which I'm glad they get a lot of tips. I'm thrilled. My son Benjamin, he worked 3 hours 2 weeks ago at our Broad Street store. He made himself $25 in tips. That's $8 an hour on top of his $12.50 an hour that he made. In tips is $20 an hour. And he's 15 years old. So yes, they do keep all their tips. Let's see. Yeah, so Frank, you're right. You can't make money if you're not open. So that may not come to you the next time because they get frustrated. They get sick of it. So the one thing about my customers and all my stores, they know we're open. We're open. I am so paranoid about that in my office, we have the 3 iPads on the 3 office people's desks with cameras in all the stores. And my staff's job in the afternoon is to let me know what time the student got there or what time the staff person got there to open the store. I need to know. If it's 2:30, why are they not there yet? And that's important because is there an emergency? Is there a problem? So the store not opening is a huge problem. How else am I going to know if the store is open or not, right? So that's one of the things that we do. We watch the stores on the cameras in the afternoon just to make sure somebody got there. But yeah, the employees keep their tips. You vendor weddings. Would you have an ice cream stand or Dell's lemonade served? So interesting point. So we do private parties. People will call us up. They want to have ice cream at a private party. So we have done private parties where we've put the ice cream in the coolers. We bring the ice cream out to the party and serve. They'll do a Sunday social where they make their own sundaes. We do a lot of that. Private parties, that type of thing. Dell's. What happens at Dell's? People will come and buy the big jumbo containers of Dell's, and then they'll get 10 or 15 cups. Usually bring back to their office, type of thing. That's normally how the Dell's works. It really isn't like a Dell's party, But yeah, that's how we end up doing the parties. But
But it really aggravates me. So yes, the employees do split their tips. That's another good question. The chicken bucket, great question. So here's how we do that with the employees. So say an employee opens up at 12 o'clock. It's a little confusing, but listen, it's fair. We want to be fair. It's all about being fair. So if an employee opens up at 12 o'clock and they're by themselves till 1 o'clock, right? And then the second person comes on, at 1 o'clock, that employee will take all the tips because they earned it for that hour. From 2 o'clock till, say, they work together for 5 o'clock, right? So, because we have a second person come on. Then at 5 o'clock, they'll take those tips and they split those tips. The employee that came in at 2 and then they split them 50-50. It doesn't matter what register they worked, doesn't matter who served who, they split their tips. And at night, the same thing. If we have 3 registers, 4 registers going to 4 people on, they split their tips during the time that they come on. It's the most fair way that we can see of doing it. The only other thing that we've toyed with in the past is doing it like what the casino does. So at the casinos, if you give tips at the casinos, it goes into a jar, locked box, whatever you want to call it. And the casino themselves pay out all the tips in everyone's paycheck. The way they do it is they do it based on hours worked. Because here's what happens, right? Here's what's a bummer. Our kids only work 1 or 2 shifts a week, right? Say they work 2 shifts and it rains both shifts. Yeah, they got their hourly, but they didn't make any tips, right? Well, it's not their fault that it rained, right? And of course, you have other kids that work the sunny night shifts and they made all the money. So we've always thought about, well, one option is we collect all the tips and then we can divvy them out fairly based on the amount of hours. So if somebody worked 3 shifts, then they would get 3 shifts of whatever the split of the tips were. And that way everyone's fair. So if it is a rainy day, they still got some tips. So that's one of the things we talked about doing. But right now we still do it the old-fashioned way where they just split the tips. Now, when we hire new employees, they're in training for 3 shifts, at least 3 shifts, sometimes 4. Boy, I got to tell you, I could open the door. It's really warm tonight. That's what's convenient, having the door right behind me, There we go. I closed it because the dogs were running around earlier. But anyway, so let's see. When we hire new employees, they're in training for at least 3 shifts, maybe sometimes 4 shifts. And what we do with that is they don't get tips. They get the minimum wage, obviously, but while they're training, they don't earn tips because the other employees are working double as hard, right? Because they're serving customers and they're teaching this person. So that's the other thing we do. For the first 3 or 4 shifts, they don't get tips. They get the minimum wage. And then, of course, when they're out of training, they get tips, and they're excited about that. So that's the story with that. Let's see. Yeah, 20. So what's interesting is this: 20 an hour is great for teens. I'm glad they're making that much money, and the learning experience is priceless. Now, I've talked about this before, right? So I pride myself on the patience that I have with the 14 and 15-year-old kids that are coming into their first job. I pride myself on my patience. I also pride myself that I have no patience for adults who piss me off, and you've seen that on TikTok. I don't hide my despise for bad tenants, bad landlords, bad judges, whatever it may be, bad building inspectors. I will share my disdain live. But with kids, I have a lot of patience because it's their first job. They've never had a job before, and you have to be, you have to teach them and train them. And that's what we do. So yeah, I'm glad they make the money that they do, and they all seem to like their job, which is really nice. And if they don't like their job, then obviously they can go find another job. But we appreciate them. This year, I got to tell you something. We've had some great. This year, better than last year. I think we have some great people that have really applied for jobs this year, which I'm really happy about. So all the applications come to me. The way it works, if they go on the website, so we do all our applications are online. So you go to dearhearts.com, right on there, you apply online, you click it, the application's right there, the kids fill it out, they pick what store that they prefer to work at. If that store is full, then we might ask them to work at another one, but they pick the store they prefer to work at. Typically, it's one near their house, right, because it's easy to get to. They don't drive. Their parents, might be working during the day. So this happened the other day. I was at the new Hershey store, and these girls came up and they wanted to apply for a job. So I said, "Sure, where do you live?" "Oh, we just walked over here from the street, right down the street." Perfect. So I told them how to go online, apply for the job, and they did. And so all the applications come to me, and then I forward them to Tim, and then Tim sets up the interviews, and we interview them at our office, and then he decides which store they're going to go work at. Some of the employees, some of the ones that drive, he may schedule them at multiple stores if they're available. College kids, they might work at multiple stores. It depends on where they live and if they drive or not. So we try to accommodate them. I had a lady. So here's the other thing that happened. In a perfect world, you would wish that the kids didn't have any other activities, that my business, my ice cream shop is their life, right? Oh yeah, I'm selfish, right? Just, nope, I don't care about anything that's going on in your life. I don't care about family vacations, my ice cream shop. Well, that's not reality. Reality is, especially post-COVID, families are taking vacations again. Kids are playing soccer. Kids are playing gymnastics. Girls do gymnastics, whatever it may be, or dance, right? Oh, the soccer, tennis, you name the activity, they're doing it, right? Prom season, right? This is prom season, graduation season. You can't not tell them they can't do any of these activities. So what we do now, I've done it the last 4 or 5 years. We actually overhire or hire extra people for the stores, especially at the beginning of the season. First of all, we have to train them all. But also, the beginning of the season is the busier time for these students, right? Graduations, like I said, proms, dances, whatever it may be, and activities, year-end activities for school, right? Honors night, whatever it may be. So we now tell the kids, apply for the job, put down your availability. It will not inhibit you in getting the job. Now, if you're only able to work Sunday mornings between 8 and 12, we're not going to hire you, okay? Sunday mornings, 8 to 12, we're not open, we're not going to hire you. But if you're available 2 or 3 days a week because you have other activities, that's fine. We will obviously consider hiring you. So we tell them, be honest with us up front. Tell us. If you're going, we even ask, are you going on any family vacations? It's not a negative. We just want to know, because if we have 5 people that apply for a job and they're all taking a family vacation July 1st, well, then we can't hire all 5 of you. So that's why we ask that question, right? So, but if they're taking a vacation June, July, August, well, that's beautiful. I can hire all 5 of them because we can stagger the vacations, right? So these are things that all have to come in play in owning a business, an ice cream shop. That is all things that come into play. All these things have to come in mind when you're hiring the staff, right? Availability. You want to juggle the schedule. You want to keep them happy. The other problem that you run into, okay, so they're kids, right? So sometimes they don't take the job as serious as you like them to, right? Again, it's a matter of training them, teaching them it is a business, it is my business. I take it seriously. So you have to teach them to take it seriously, especially if it's their first job. What I mean by that is this, not be on the phone all day long, not be texting all day long, not have your friends bring you pizza all day long, right? All those things, right? That's all understood, right? Also, having friends visit. This is a job. It's a business. Your friends can't come and get free ice cream because if your friend works at a gas station, can I go there and get free gas? I don't think so. So these are all things that you have to teach, the kids how to take the business seriously. And that sometimes is a little bit of a challenge. I'm not going to lie to you there. That's a challenge sometimes because they're thinking, I can get a job like this anywhere. Right? I can work at Dunkin' Donuts. I can go to Starbucks. I can go wherever and get a job. So that's the hard part. That's why you want to try to keep them happy, keep them motivated. And that's the other thing too. There's a juggling act right there. You don't want to overstaff the store where you got 4 people on and no customers, right? Because now they're not making any tips. They're standing around bored. They're talking on the phone. They're not cleaning. So that's another thing with managing ice cream shops, a seasonal business. You got to look at the weather. You got to make sure you don't overstaff. You got to make sure you don't understaff. So these are all things to think about. But anyway, one of the other things about taking the job serious is this. Again, we try to be flexible with the staff. So sometimes you'll get these people, their social life is more important than the store. That's a problem. Their friends, going out with their friends, social life. So over the years, I've had many instances of this where, I have a girl, she'll be scheduled. I use a girl because, again, I'm not stereotyping because we do hire boys now too. So I have a staff person, but it's always been a girl, that all of a sudden just keeps constantly changing their schedule. They didn't work Tuesday, they didn't work Thursday. So I look back, they got this one to work for, got that one to work for. They would trade shifts. So it got real bad for a while. So about 3 years ago, we started a new policy. If you cannot work a shift, you're not trading, you give it up. I don't care what the excuse is. You give up that shift. If you can work another shift that week, you let us know. And if somebody calls and says, we'll give you that shift. But you're not trading shifts. We had people, it was like a jigsaw puzzle. It was a free-for-all. But here's the other problem. We schedule people based on their experience, based on how good they are, their maturity level. On a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, I want my best, fastest, quickest, employees on to serve the customers. Those are the busiest days of the week. If my fastest, busiest employee cannot work and they get one of the new trainees in, they just stabbed me in the foot, right? That crippled the business that night. We took away one of our good employees and put on a weak employee. So that's why it's extremely important that when they need time off, they have to go through Tim or the store manager, because we have to approve who covers the shift, and that's why we say you're going to give up the shift, and we will find somebody to fill the shift. So again, it's all things you have to think about. That it's not a matter of just putting a body in there. It has to be a body that's going to serve customers quick, efficiently, and keep the customers happy, right? So all those things come into play, and this time of year is when all those things do come into play, because you're dealing with the people that came back from last year quickly forget over the winter the rules and how we do things. And of course, the new staff don't know the rules and how we do things. So this time of year, we're retraining everybody all over again. And I don't mind doing it and just reminding people, here's how it plays out. Do you, Andrew, Bryan, and Tim ever scoop? So that's funny. So I will tell you, chicken bucket, the only time I've ever scooped is... Yeah, I'll tell you the time when Andrew and I scoop. So the ice cream shops open at 2 o'clock. If we're driving by a store and it's 11 o'clock and we're having a craving, we'll stop in and scoop ourselves some ice cream. I can't lie, we've done that a few times this winter, especially at the West Shore Road store if we're on the road. That's a true story. But also, when I bought the store back in 1998, when I bought the first store, it was exciting, right? I never owned an ice cream shop before, Actually, I never owned a restaurant before. I owned my nightclub at the time, but I never owned, and I didn't drink. So it was really no fun going at 3 a.m. and pouring myself a drink, because I didn't drink, right? I could do it. I had the permission to do it. I had the key. It was my club. I could go in there and drink whatever I wanted, right? But I didn't get as much fun as what I used to do. So my friend Dan and I, who happened to be the best man at my wedding, Dan, he's actually a guitarist in the Senders, local band, the Senders here in Rhode Island. Anyway, so Dan and I, when I first bought the ice cream shop, we thought it was, we were king shit. 2 o'clock in the morning, we'd go to the ice cream shop, go in, and we would test all the different ice cream, make ourselves sundaes and stuff. So we did that all summer long. The first summer that I bought it, that kind of wore off too. That's because we both got fat. But we both lost weight since then too. But it's just funny because, peppermint stick is my favorite. How do you know that? That's my favorite. Peppermint stick. Growing up, peppermint stick was my favorite ice cream growing up. My favorite. Now, we used to go to Friendly's Ice Cream. Friendly's Ice Cream had peppermint stick, and we used to go there, and it's my favorite ice cream. And it tastes just like eating a peppermint stick or eating a candy cane. That's what it tastes like. So I love peppermint stick ice cream. But anyway, so that's the only time that I ever scoop is when I sneak in during off hours. I'll scoop myself some ice cream. So the same thing with Tim and Andrew. They've never scooped in the ice cream shop. Now we've swirled. We'll go in and we'll make our own soft serve, ice cream. So we'll do that, But the only time I can think of Bryan even making his own ice cream is at my house. I do have a soft serve machine in my house. So whenever we have a party, I fill it with soft serve. And of course, everyone, they make themselves all kinds of crazy, desserts with the soft serve machine in the house. So no, that's actually, I did serve customers chicken bucket. So here's what happened. When I bought the store in 1998, it was in September. It was like September 18th, if I remember right, because it was towards the end of the season. I closed on the store. We signed the papers with the lawyers. So technically the store was mine that day. So I had bought the store for my parents, right? My parents were both retiring at the time. I bought the store for them to run. It was just an investment for me. So we went there on that September 18th, and I waited on the customers, but my parents actually made the cones, and they served them because they ran the stores for many years after that. Or that store until I had my second store. So 1998 was my first store. 2002 was my second store, which is the Hershey store now. 2004 was my third store, which was the one that I have on West Shore Road. That was the third store in 2004. 2006, I opened up a store in West Warwick, neighborhood store. It didn't do very well at all. I ended up selling it, and they actually turned it into a deli. Actually, I didn't sell. I closed it, took the equipment out of it, and leased it to a deli is what happened. They turned it into a deli. That store didn't do very well. So I have not, there's been circumstances where I've tried it, and it didn't work, and that was one of those cases. So that was that that store. Then I opened up one in downtown Providence, and my nightclub. Attached to the nightclub, we had a restaurant that we weren't using the restaurant, so we made that into an ice cream shop. Did that for 2.5 years. Didn't make a lot of money either. Then we were bought out of our lease in Providence because they sold the building. They bought our lease out, so we closed that one. And then let's see, Smithfield. That store opened up in 2006. The Smithfield store. I opened that in 2006, and then let's see, and that's pretty much it. And of course now I just took her back over there. Oh, and then of course 2016 I opened up the store in East Greenwich. So that was that was my 3 stores I had at the time at Broad Street in Cranston, Patuxent Village, West Shore Road in Warwick, and I had the East Greenwich store. And then this year now we have the Hershey store. So that's pretty much how that worked out with the ice cream shops. No, Tim doesn't. So Tim is a district manager. So Tim pretty much works out of my office. We have store managers in each store who do serve the customers that answer to Tim. So Tim is a district manager. He does the hiring out of my store, and he supervises the managers. But no, Tim wasn't hired to scoop or make ice cream or anything like that. His job specifically is, now, Tim has a vast experience being a district manager of D'Angelo's for many, many years before he came to work for me. And so one of the things he's working on is my food costs. He wants to really track my food costs, keep track of the food costs for the stores this year. So that's what Tim's working on. But no, Tim's more of he's a district manager of the 4 stores. He was instrumental of getting the Hershey store open. He dealt with all the inspectors. He dealt with all the applications. He dealt with ordering the signs. Tim, because of his experience with D'Angelo's, he was a perfect person to open up that store. So, and it's funny because yesterday he made a prediction that it was going to make $600 yesterday. I made a prediction of $500. Well, the store did $605 yesterday, so Tim won that prediction yesterday. So I give him credit on that. When I was thinking 500, but he said he'd be happy with 600. And I'm really glad about that. I'm glad about that because he really worked hard at getting that store open. I have all these ideas, right? But I can't do everything, and I don't do everything. I share my ideas. I mean, Andrew's a very hard worker when it comes to the real estate. Tim's a hard worker when it comes to, because he's a property manager and he's a district manager for my ice cream shops. He's wearing 2 hats right now. And so I can come up with the ideas, and I can ask people to implement the ideas. And when they do, and it comes out perfect like this, I mean, that's great, and that's all you can ask for. And that's why I talk about having other businesses. So, so frustration, right? My pain. Let's go back to my pain. I know I'm a whiner baby, right? I've had the pain for 3 months now. The reason why it's concerning me the last 2 or 3 weeks more, where it's stressful, it's getting stressful, is because I feel certain days it's slowing me down, and I've never felt that way in my life. And I'm an active person. I ski, I run, I don't run regularly, but I run around. I'll play soccer with my son Benjamin. We'll play in the yard. But I feel now this pain is starting to slow me down, or starting to get to me where it's aggravating me, depressing a little bit to slow me down, because I still have ideas in these other businesses that I want to start and I want to run, right? So it's all well and good. I got the ideas, but if I can't put my heart and soul into it 100% because I'm not up to it, how can I expect somebody else to too? So that's where I'm a little bit on the fence right now, is moving forward with a few things. That's why I'm hoping that that I can solve this problem soon. The junkyard's coming along, I would say. So we're in and out of there every day, even though we haven't closed on it. We're starting there. The name of the shop in Smithfield. So that's a good question, because it just changed hands this year. So you think I would know the name of the shop, but I know they changed. Scoops. So the name of the shop is Scoops. It's on the corner of Putnam Pike and Putnam Pike Putnam Pike, which is Route 44, and Esmond Road. It was a Hess gas station. What do they call now? They're not Hess anymore. What are they called now? That's right there on the corner. But that's the one in Smithfield, right off of Route 295. If you guys are familiar with Smithfield, it's right off of 295. There's a Hess gas station on one corner, or whatever. The Speedway, that's it, Speedway. It's a Speedway on the other corner. Chicken bucket, absolutely. So, it's funny because the other day, Bryan even made a comment about that. He goes, I don't know if this is going to be good with me being my office upstairs from the ice cream shop, But yeah, no, that's fine. He'll be my number one customer. even at half price, he'll be my number one customer. So that's okay, you know. So yeah, no. So what happened, Chicken Bucket, is when I opened them all up, they all were Dear Hearts. I opened up every store as a Dear Hearts ice cream. I probably missed that point. Every one I opened up, except for this one, Hershey's, this year, has always been a Dear Hearts. What happened was the one in Smithfield, when I sold it, that family changed the name from Dear Hearts to Scoops. When I sold the one in Warwick, they changed it from Dear Hearts to Lindy's. So that's what happened there when they changed the name. When I sell it, they change the name. I will give them permission to use the Dear Hearts name as long as they keep the menu the same. They buy the ice cream from the same people. They sell Dells. As long as they keep everything the same, I have no problem licensing them the name. But if they're not going to, they have to change the name. So, hey BBQ Dan one. Barbecue, Dan, right? Barbecue. I bet that's barbecue. I'm going on a limb right here. So anyway, hey, Alan Green, you love my videos. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, no. So the one in Smithfield, I own the building. I own the physical building, but I do not own the ice cream shop. So the one in Smithfield, it was owned by a family for the last 10 years. Their lease was up, and they, so, you know, I'll give them credit. So here's what they did. There's a lot of people doing the ice cream business or seasonal business or restaurant business. They bought that business when their kids were young. They owned it for the kids to work through the store, make some money in the store. And then once the kids went away to college and stuff or finished college, they sold the store. And that's what they did. This winter, that store actually changed hands and some new people own the store now. So it's under new ownership. I know they kept the name the same, but it's under new ownership. I only met them when they came in to sign the lease with Andrew, when they came to the office to sign the new lease. But I own the building, but yeah, I don't own the ice cream shop. And then, of course, there's a dog grooming salon in there. In the same building. That building has 2 storefronts in it. So there's a dog grooming salon and there's the ice cream shop. So the dog grooming salon is Details, by the way, is the name of the, which is kind of a cool name. It's the letter D and then tails, like, you know, dog's tails, so Details. And they do I'll tell you what a busy place they are. So, what state would I invest in right now? Well, I got to tell you something, you know, Texas, Florida, those are 2 places that you can really, but the problem is even down there, the prices are so high everywhere. Prices are high in Massachusetts, the prices are high. I would love to invest in Massachusetts right now. Connecticut looks pretty good. So over the border in Connecticut, the prices look like they're still kind of moderate where I could maybe buy something over the border in Connecticut. It's not too far from me. Oh yeah, well, Florida, you got 3 places in Florida, you're doing okay. So it's funny because I follow real estate in Florida and I get alerts. Because I look for multifamilies, right? So I get alerts. So I'm just sitting here a few minutes ago and I got an alert from Florida where there's a price drop on this multi-unit down in Fort Myers. And but the price is just so high, it's just unbelievable, you know? So, you know, here's the story about New York. You know, I did look, so Lake George. So I love Lake George. I like going up to Lake George. My wife's cousins all live up in Schenectady, and they go up to Lake George a lot, and it's beautiful up there. So throughout the years, I had never been to Lake George, by the way, until I met my wife. I had never thought about going to Lake George. And we go up there every summer. I like it. It's beautiful up there. I would invest up there in a multi in Lake George. If there was something, I followed it, and if there was something up there available, I would, you know, buy it and use it as an Airbnb, rent it out. So there are some nice places. Obviously, you know, New York is a beautiful state, you know. So yeah, I definitely would invest in New York. I love New York. Isn't that funny? You know, I'm going to sell that to them as a slogan. Yeah, no, Lake George is beautiful. Lake George, you know, we've gone up to the Minnehaha, Minnehaha. And last summer, we actually went on a dinner cruise up there, which was wonderful. We had never done that before. So we took a dinner cruise where they served us, you know, prime rib dinner, and we took the cruise all the way around the lake, and it was really nice, you know. The other thing up there is Six Flags is up there, you know, which is really nice, you know. Lake Champlain's beautiful. Up there, and that's why we would take the boat around the lake. We didn't go the whole lake, obviously, because the lake's huge, you know, but it did the whole area there. It was a 3-hour cruise, you know, 3-hour cruise. But it was beautiful. And then, like I said, we go to Six Flags. We used to stay at Six Flags, the Great Escape up there. It was great in the winter because they had the indoor water park at the hotel, but in the summer they had the indoor water park, and then of course you go to the amusement park, you know. So I have a gentleman that we're Chicken Bucket. Good question. So I have a gentleman that's been working for me now about 15 years, Mike. So Mike used to run my audiovisual business, but what Mike is great at is special projects. He's owned a number of his own businesses throughout the years. He owned a paving business. He owned a car lot. Landscape lighting business. He's owned businesses. So what's nice about the experience that he has of being a business owner is that he can go up and he can run that property. He'll manage that complex because there are tenants there, so he's going to be dealing with the tenants. There's going to be the used car lot up there, so he'll be able to supervise that, keep his eye on that. We're going to hire somebody to manage the used car lot and run the used car lot and sell the used cars. But Mike will be the property manager up there, and of course we're storing all our dumpsters up there, so there's going to be a lot for him to do up there. So Mike handles special projects for me right now, and that's pretty much his job. Like, part of his job was to order me my jumbotrons. Hey, Mike, go buy me 2 jumbotrons, right? So he bought me 2 jumbotrons. We just sold off 150 dumpsters. Hey, Mike, sell me 150 dumpsters, and he's great at doing that. Or, we're buying a truck. We need to buy another truck with a plow, right? So we need to get a truck that will pull a jumbotron. So we want to get an F-250, F-350, something like that. So Mike's job last week was to find a truck. So he happened to find one, a couple of years old, F-250 with a plow on it, so we can use it for plowing. Plus, it's big enough where it can tow the jumbotron. So that's what Mike's job, especially the fact that he has such, used car sales or sales. He's great at finding me vehicles when we need vehicles and that type of thing. So he will be. His office is actually right next to mine now, but he'll be moving to Johnston. His office will be going to Johnston when we take over that property, and he'll be managing that property. That's right. He's special projects Mike around the office. That's right. That's exactly right. So let's we did sell the front loads. Those are the dumpsters we sold last week. We sold most of them. So oops. Hello. Oh. Hello? Oops. I was trying to call Bryan, see if he's around tonight, because I don't want him to think I left him out, I left him out of the loop. Let me try it again. Let's see if he answers this character. So Bryan, all right. Well, Bryan, answer this time. I didn't have it plugged in.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
All right. Bryan's on.
Plugged in?
What?
So what, did you not have me plugged in?
Nah, I didn't have you plugged in. Wishful thinking.
Well,
So anyway, Bryan, people were asking if you ever scooped any ice cream yourself.
No, I mean, not in the professional sense, but I definitely have taken advantage of the soft serve machine at your house whenever we're there.
Oh, I said that. I said that you've taken full advantage of me. I mean, my soft serve machine. Yep, that's right.
Jeff has been an excellent mentor in how to craft the perfect root beer float.
Yep. That's right. The root beer floats. Yeah, we make those at my house. Well, that's because I have. That's because I have the big straws. The big straw. It's all about the big straw.
That's right.
So anyway, so Bryan, so you're not doing the Butler Waste anymore. Why don't you talk about the audiovisual, because you've been working on that? Why don't you tell everybody about what you do? We don't talk much about the audio. The audiovisual business is the most profitable business I own, that makes the most money out of anything I own. Yeah, I talk about it the least on TikTok. I don't understand that. Why is that? Is it not glamorous? Or is it not dirty?
I think the reason why is because it's not generally local. We do the graduations. We have several coming up in June. We do some local events. We got the new jumbotrons coming, so we'll be able to do some local stuff with that. But generally, it tends to be, like I had a show that was just in Tampa last week. We got tremendous reviews from the client. They were very, very happy with Rick, who was my show manager that day for that show. And I even forwarded the email to the group, which led to some other emails at one point that were pretty funny. But the point of the story is that, I don't know why we talk about that the least. I think it's probably the thing that people know the least about. When people ask about, you do audio visual, what does that even mean?
Right. Yeah. Because I guess I don't really explain much. I don't really explain much about the audio visual. But yeah, no, the audio visual to me is, that's always been my baby, and that's the one that's made the most money over the years, the most profitable.
That's where you start.
So yeah, that's how I started. That's what paid for the first ice cream shop. That's what paid for the real estate to begin with, was the audio visual.
Yeah.
You know. So
And it's due to COVID, the audio visual slowed down a lot. So once you got going on TikTok, everybody knew your realty stories and as a problem and your book stories. So now they're going to hear more AV stories.
well, yeah, well that and yeah, there's going to be a lot more of these because we're getting so busy. Not only that, when we get the jumbotrons out there, I want to get some videos, some pictures of those. I want to show those on TikTok. That's one of the things I want to start doing now.
You tell them all
Hey,
about
make
your new
money.
drone.
So make money. Why are you telling me to get the violin out? I want to know why you tell me to get the violin out. What did I say to force you to tell me to get the violin out? What am I complaining about? I'm just curious. Makes money is always busting my balls.
Of course he is.
Get the violin out. I want to know what I did. But anyway, yeah, no. So that's why I figured I'd catch you, Bryan. So what else is going on? What are you doing? What'd you do this weekend? Anything fun?
I watched Let's kick the crap out of the Buck. It was great. One set other in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, hey, Bryan, do you have any? Oh, wait, wait. Bryan,
Yep.
if he needs my advice for the Preakness. Oh, Makes Money wants to know, do you need his advice on who to, for the Preakness, who to
I don't
bet on?
listen. I don't have the kind of luck that Uncle Jeff needs, so I can't. I don't want to spend the money. To me, be spending money. You throw money in there and you win.
Wait a minute, that was not luck. I studied each and every single horse. It took me at least 4 or 5 minutes to decide to vote on Rich Strike.
That's about as much time as I spent studying the NCAA tournament map.
You know, I got lucky there. Listen, again, I give Makes Money the credit. I would not even have bet that day had he not said, hey, who are you betting on for the Kentucky Derby? And I was sitting there with my wife saying, hey, let's make this interesting. So I wouldn't even have bet,
No, you're right.
So I give him credit for at least, piquing my interest in betting on the race. And it was funny because I said to Chris, I care to make this interesting. And of course we did, But somebody asked, Chicken Bucket wants to know, the Butler Waste completely moved to junkyard. Yeah, no, we are going to completely move, yes. Still waiting for a couple of issues to go through. We're waiting for the closing, which is one thing. But yes, then we will completely move to the junkyard, completely, 100%. Out of sight, out of mind. I can't wait. So I cannot wait. But anyway, yeah, so... like I was saying, Bryan, earlier, I almost didn't go on tonight because I've been very uncomfortable with this stupid pain today. But I was like, you know what? This gets my mind off of it. Actually, this is therapeutic going on TikTok.
It does. It is.
Yes, I will keep the truck repair building. The truck repair building has come in handy because what's interesting is not only is it repairing my trucks, but he's also repairing all the cars from my Elmwood Realty, the trucks for audiovisual services. So that building is so conveniently located near us that I will keep that building just for doing repairs. I refuse to pay to store a vehicle or a dumpster at that building and give the city of Warwick one more dime of tax money. I absolutely refuse, but I have no problem using that building to repair my trucks because they don't get tax money for that. And I'm very I'm adamant about that. So I'm not giving Warwick another dime until I get an apology or I resolve my issues with them.
I think they owe you more than an apology at this point.
What?
So I do believe that they owe you more than an apology.
Oh, they do, and that's why once that's resolved, then I'll think differently. And again, people think, you're picking on Warwick. No, I'm picking on Warwick Building Department and the mayor who doesn't take control of the building department. Every other department I like. Obviously, I like the school department because they contracted us to do their graduation, right? So we love the school department. Absolutely.
You guys grew up in Warwick.
Yeah, Johnston property is close. Next week or two, I signed some papers last week for the financing, so we're very close in the Johnston property, and I cannot wait. I am really excited about the Johnston property because that's a big undertaking as well. We're going to be doing the solar panels there, solar farm there. We're going to be doing the storing the dumpsters there. So yeah, Shamrock, I'm telling you, I'm not giving that. That's why we moved Butler Waste to Johnston. So here's what happens with tangible tax with businesses. So if you own a business in a city, whether it's Butler Waste, whether it's a Walmart, whether it's Stop and Shop, whatever it is, you have to pay tangible tax. It's called personal property tax to the city. Now, the personal property tax, tangible tax, is on any equipment that you own that you use to conduct business. So Stop and Shop, the shelving, the computer systems, the registers, the freezers, the coolers, that's all tangible assets that the business has to pay taxes to the city on, okay? Butler Waste, I own all the trucks, which I do not have them registered in Warwick because they're not getting a dime out of me. I have all the dumpsters that, again, because I'm moving now to Johnston, they will be out of Warwick by December comes when they do the assessment, and they are not getting a dime. But give you an example, if I had $1 million worth of dumpsters in Warwick, that's $50,000 in taxes I'd be paying to the city every year, just because I have my dumpsters there. So I refuse to give the city a dime. I refuse. You know, I haven't done the TikTok yet, but yesterday I had an event. I hosted an event, emceed an event for Special Olympics. And yesterday, in fact, I didn't, it's on my phone. I just have not uploaded it to TikTok yet, but I'm going to give everybody a preview right now. So Special Olympics had a basketball free throw, 24-hour free throw contest. Went on for 24 hours. And I emceed it. I did not stay for 24 hours. I did stay for the first 3 hours because for the first 3 hours, there were some really exciting matchups. So the first matchup was the governor of the state of Rhode Island, Governor Dan McKee, who, by the way, is a wonderful guy. You'll see on the video, when I show the video, I was able to meet him, talk to him yesterday, and the mayor of the city of Cranston. They were the first matchup. Yesterday, they had a free throw contest. And I'm not going to tell you who won. You have to watch the video, the TikTok, to see who won. But anyway, it's so exciting when I bump into the mayor of Cranston. And yesterday when he introduced me to the governor, how welcoming they are. Yeah, come on into our city. And that's why right now I'm looking for a building in Cranston to move one of my new businesses to. Because why? Because Cranston is welcoming. Johnston was welcoming. Warwick is, F you, Jeff, get out of here. Fine. I have no problem with that. The funny thing is what people don't realize is that it doesn't matter, okay, he's leaving, somebody else will come in and pay the taxes. No, because it depends on the type of business, how much taxes you pay. That's why Butler Waste is a high-taxed business. So by Butler Waste leaving, they lose a lot of money in taxes. For instance, the building that we were in at East Avenue, Bryan, you know the building in East Avenue?
Yep.
Okay, so we were storing our dumpsters there, right? So my tax bill to the city of Warwick would have been $40,000 to $50,000 this year. Now, I moved out. I sold it to a different business. That business is going to be using it as a warehouse to store files. They're not going to be paying any taxes at all. They don't pay tax on files. So there's a good example where the city of Warwick lost a $50,000 taxpayer. And that's just one instance. You know what I'm saying? As far as I'm concerned, if we get a big enough building in Cranston, I will move the audiovisual business as well. You know? So, so the Jumbotrons are waterproof because they can be used outside. But we're going to store them in garages anyway. But yeah, they're waterproof, obviously, because they're used outside. But we'll store them because of the expense. Yeah, they're a couple $100,000 each. They're not cheap. So we're going to store those in garages and obviously in safe places. You know, our insurance company's going to make sure of that. You know, they're not cheap Jumbotrons, unfortunately. How many acres of carports? Good question. 6 acres. There'll be 6 acres of carports. The property is about 8.5 acres, but we're only going to use about 6, the center of the property. So what you have is you have setbacks. You have 50-foot setbacks where you can't build within 50 feet of the property line. So around the whole property, we're going to leave that 50-foot setback, and we're going to use that to store the dumpsters. And the carports will be on the interior of the property. That's a great question, by the way. So the solar carports will be about 5.5, 6 acres will be the carports. And the reason we're having the carports is so that way we can rent the land underneath to those car exporters that are still there. I don't want to lose the tenants. I want to keep the tenants there. So what will happen is we'll have the carports. Underneath the carports will be our tenants that rent space for the car exporters. We'll have around the carports, the whole exterior part to store our dumpsters. There is there's a building there that we can still use to store the Jumbotrons and some vehicles and some trucks in it. And that's what we'll do there at that property. And then in front of the building will be where the car lot is outside. There's a parking lot that we'll use for the car lot. So Bryan, you'll be able to buy your next car from me.
Possible. Did you tell them why you had to open an ice cream shop up the street?
No.
Well, because I have a petition to get you to open Taco Bell there. but you decided I wouldn't spend any time up in the office if you had put a Taco Bell.
Well, that's true. That is true. That is true. I was forced to open up there just to keep Bryan from going up to a Taco Bell up there. That is true. No, so Bryan, Chicken Bucket's asking if you got your Jeep. He didn't get his Jeep. Bryan, why don't you tell everybody what you got?
I didn't get a Jeep. I went and looked at it. There were a few things that kind of were red flags. I ended up buying an '04 Toyota Tundra. It's a V8. It's got some mileage on it, but it looks to be in good shape, and it's quite the change from the Prius, I can tell you that much.
So Bryan thought that it was a great idea in this day and age to go from a Prius getting 52 miles a gallon, to a 8-cylinder Toyota Tundra. Is that correct?
I didn't think it was a great idea. I just wanted something that was more comfortable. I don't do a ton of traveling and driving, pretty short, and I also don't have a car payment anymore, so that's the benefit of.
So here's what the funny story there, Bryan. First of all, the Toyota Tundra is very comfortable. So I had to drop my Tesla off to get fixed last week. I had to get the wheels aligned. The alignment was way off, and there was a squeak underneath. So I dropped it off. So Bryan picked me up in his Toyota Tundra at the Tesla dealership, and it is very comfortable. There's no doubt in my mind. It's a very, very big cab and very comfortable, and it's perfect. So now, Bryan, what did you end up doing with your Prius?
I sold it to you.
That's right. So I bought Bryan's Prius. That way I can add it to the fleet for our Elmwood Realty drive, because I'm on the road all day long. Why am I going to pay somebody driving all day long? Bryan doesn't do that much driving either, so the Tundra really doesn't affect it. You drive to work and home, and that's pretty much it.
That's it. Yeah.
But for us, I got guys on the road literally all day long driving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I bought Bryan's Prius from him, added it to our fleet of Priuses, and now, so now we have so that day that my car was being fixed, I drove Bryan's Prius around all day long. The funny thing is that I had to do a ton of driving that day. I had to get down to URI for a meeting, and then I had to go up to Providence twice for 2 meetings. Then I had to drive the Benjamin to work at the ice cream shop. So I did a ton of driving that day, and I used the Prius, so it was kind of nice. So I broke in the Prius, but it is a nice car. It is a nice car.
Yeah. There's the only thing that about with that is the trunk.
So it's funny. They're asking me, did I buy the Prius off of him for Tim? So here's what happened there. I bought the Prius off of him for Andrew. Andrew's Prius is going to go to Tim. So that's what's going to happen there. So Tim's going to drive in Andrew's Prius, and Andrew.
And then,
so kind of
truck.
What?
So you're also buying 2 trucks.
Oh yeah. So Tim has a Ford Ranger. So Tim has a little Ford Ranger. So what year is that Ford Ranger, Bryan?
It's an '04.
So Tim has an '04 Ford Ranger. And he has taken, this thing is like brand new. He has taken such good care of this vehicle with 250,000 miles on it. So it was funny because, everyone's like, oh, Tim, I want to buy your truck. I want to buy your truck. I want to buy your truck. Well, we needed a small little vehicle for Butler Waste. I needed a small little vehicle for the mechanic to use just to drive if we have a broken down truck, or to go buy parts, just to run around. So I ended up buying Tim's car from him the other day, Tim's truck. From him the other day, and I'm giving that to Butler Waste to use just to run around to pick up parts and this and that, even if it's temporary until we can get something better. But just to give to Mike, our mechanics, that way he has something to drive around in. So yes, I ended up buying Tim's car too. So we keep adding. What's happening as the businesses grow, I keep adding to the inventory. We did order a brand new Prius but right now you can't get a car, so it's going to take like 3 months for it to come. So the brand new Prius will be coming, be adding to our fleet, and that will actually end up being Andrew's car. And Andrew's Prius.
The Ranger's better anyway for Butler Waste.
What?
I said the Ranger is better for Butler Waste anyways, because your guys from Elmwood, they use the F-150, and it's a bigger truck.
Oh, exactly. And I don't want
water tanks and things like that all the time. They need something bigger.
Well, I don't want them rolling my plow trucks in the summer. That's the thing. I rather the plow trucks sit and not be used. So yeah, that's exactly right, Chicken Bucket. That's why we're keeping the Ranger. It's a great little truck. So I bought his truck from him. It's a great little truck. So it's perfect for doing the running around for Butler Waste, running around the junkyard, moving little parts here and there. So I bought that from Tim the other day, and of course I bought Bryan's Prius. But I did order a brand new Prius a couple weeks ago from Toyota, but it's like 6 months, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, or something like that before they come, and I forget. But anyway, it's on order. Now, the reason being is that my son Benjamin this summer is going to be taking driver's ed. So he's going to be getting his license probably in September, October, right? So he's going to need a car to drive. Well, he's not getting a new car. He's going to get one of my old 2010 Priuses. Because think about it. When you're 16 years old and you get licensed, what do? You scratch, you bang, you ding, you dent, right? So I'm going to, Benjamin will get one of the old Priuses, to drive around in. You know what I'm saying? When he gets his license. I'm not one of those people. He's not going to go out and get a brand new car. He's getting a 12-year-old car. You know what I'm saying? And that's, but yeah, that's a chicken bucket. Funny, so Mike said that on Friday. Mike said you're going to move all the plow trucks to Johnston. We're going to lock them up, and there's a big giant garage there that we can park them all in, and that's what we're going to do. Because I got the F-350. I don't want them driving that around. I got the F-250, and I got the F-150. I don't want them driving around those trucks, the plow trucks, and of course the Toyota Tacoma, my truck. So I don't want them driving the trucks around and ruin them. I want to save them for the winter. We need them for plowing. So yeah, the Ranger might be good for Benjamin, but it might be a little too old, and plus it's only a 2-seater. I think you want to have a 4-seater car, But that's all right. He can have one of the Priuses. I'll tell you why. 52 miles to the gallon. That way I don't feel bad. The kid's working all day in the ice cream shop earning his money. He's not throwing it into a gas tank like when I was a kid. When I was 16 years old, right? Every time I made was going to my gas guzzler, which kind of stunk, Well, that's exactly right. So that's the other thing too, Chicken Bucket. We're going to use the F-350 and F-250 to pull the Jumbotrons. And that's the only thing they're going to be used for. Well, towing the Jumbotrons and of course, plowing in the winter. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Hey, Bryan.
Yeah.
They're asking me how many Taco Bell packets I found in your car when I drove it the other day.
Listen. Would you not agree the car was very clean when you got it?
What?
I said, would you not agree that I left the car in really good shape?
Yes, yeah, no, the car was in very, very good shape. You did. You had cleaned it out very, very, very well. I was surprised. I was shocked. You know what I'm saying? Now, though it was cleaned out, I don't know if I'll ever get the Taco Bell smell out of it, but it was cleaned. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think I'll ever get the smell out of it, the smell of taco. Is that an air freshener that you actually bought and like hid in the car somewhere on me?
No, it's just about stank, it's stuff to relieve that.
Yeah, I hear you. But yeah, so that's why it's interesting. That's why I wanted to talk about the property on Elmwood Avenue. Will you use the property as storage for Elmwood? That's a good question. If I can find a big enough building in Cranston, I want to move the audiovisual business to Cranston with this other business that I might be taking over. Because they'll go hand in hand. So if I do find a building in Cranston, I will move the audiovisual in Cranston. But as short-term plan right now is to leave everything on Elmwood Avenue and move the audiovisual up the street above the ice cream shop. Phantom Gourmet has never visited my ice cream shops. That's a good question. The Phantom Gourmet has never visited. Just the only people that visit that the staff doesn't know about are my secret shoppers that I give gift cards to. By the way, Bryan, how come you don't have a gift card?
For what?
The ice cream shops.
I don't know. I've never been offered.
Well, you have to apply. You have to apply for one.
The other day. There's an secret though. She wouldn't tell me how much it was.
Who?
Jasmine.
Yeah, she got one on Friday. You have to apply for it.
I'll apply for it. I'll apply for it.
You have to. Well, there's no place in Johnston for the AV business. I mean, obviously, if I found a building, off at $295, then I would love to. I would love to consider moving the AV business to Johnston, but it'd have to be off at $295 convenient to get to, stuff like that. Yeah, no, I would consider Johnston. Absolutely. Yep. So, but I don't hide the fact that, Warwick has not done me any favors as far as a business person. Here's an example. I haven't gotten a phone call from my local councilman or from the mayor. Hey, congratulations on the new Hershey store. I've been open, Butler Waste has been open a year and a half. Hey, congratulations, open up a business in our city. Nothing. Shit, I got nothing, okay, from the city. Okay, nothing. Mayor of Cranston congratulated me 4 times. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that bothers me, So I could build one on the property, but I don't want to take up the room on that particular property, you know what I'm saying? But who knows? You never know. Yeah, Austin, I've heard about that. I guess if you're a landlord in California, Brian, I guess that's the worst. It's tough to get rid of I see it on the news all the time. They show how squatters go into the properties. There's a landlord or property owner. You could not get people out of your property in California. So that's what's crazy. What did the Cosmopolitan do? Are you going to do what the Cosmopolitan did? What did they do? Make money. I guess I missed it. What did the Cosmopolitan do? Of course, I could be like the Superman building and apply for $20 million grant from the state. Hey, give me $20 million. My building's a piece of shit. I loved that one last week. How did they get away with that one? The people own the Superman building, Brian. Oh, state of Rhode Island, can we have $20 million to fix the building?
Wow.
So, yeah, no, I see a $5,000 bonus for everyone. I know it, huh? Yeah, well, I can't do that. No, I can't afford that. I guess the Cosmopolitan gave everybody a $5,000 bonus. Or is that a $5 bonus? I can give a $5 bonus. I could do that. No, Brian and Andrew work for two different companies, Chicken. But Brian works for Audiovisual Services, and Andrew works for Elmwood Realty. So they're two different companies. So yeah, neither one of them supervise each other because it's literally two different businesses. I keep my businesses separate, and so yeah, they don't. Other than passing by each other in the office during the day, you really don't talk to each other much, do you? Brian?
Yeah, no, we talk a little bit, but no.
Yeah, I know when you talk. What do you want from Duncan?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
See? Hey, Susan, was there an announcement? No, it wasn't an announcement yet. There was not an announcement yet. Do I have a dress code for my staff? Yes, they have to wear clothes. But we have a dress code for the ice cream shops. We do. And the audiovisual people, when they're on jobs, they do have a dress code. In the office, we're quite casual in the office as far as that goes, only because we don't deal with customers. We're not really dealing. The only one would be Jasmine at the front desk deals, tenants coming in. So we really don't have a dress code. Brian?
The only thing you do ask for the AV guys when they have a Zoom call to be, dressed appropriately for them.
Yeah. See, now that you have a Toyota, Brian, make money is saying now that you have a Toyota, the girls are really going to be checking you out now.
That's excellent. That's what I want to hear. I play a lot of country music.
Well, now that you have the Tundra, now that you have the Tundra, the Prius, I think the girls look the other way, but the Tundra, it's a whole different story.
Yeah, the Prius is a.
Yeah, that kind of was an announcement, but yeah. So, obviously, I have to, like I said, a couple of things are happening this week with the businesses. So that's why throughout the week I'll be doing some TikToks and some updates and making announcements this week. But basically, the bottom line is the businesses are growing, they're expanding. Brian, what I was talking about earlier, before I even called you, is my frustration with my back pain and my leg pain, how it's been very distracting to me. It's been keeping me out of the office. I know you guys love it. But it's been keeping me out of the office and keeping me from being enthusiastic about the new businesses. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I've always been enthusiastic, excited. When I buy a property, I'm excited. Right now I could care because my back pain and my leg pain is really distracting. I want to be excited again. I want to get back to being excited about business again.
It's not that we're excited that you're not in the office. It's just, because you can get in touch with us through the phone and stuff like that. It's just,
They're coming this week to clean my treehouse. So see the treehouse behind me, Brian? Are you watching the TikTok? So the treehouse, the treehouse with the zip line, right?
Yep.
All right, the roof is all full of moss. It's disgusting. So I told the maintenance guys when they come to do my lawn this week, because my house is on the maintenance schedule with my 67 properties. So my maintenance crew they do my house too. I told them to clean the roof because it's in my TikToks every Sunday. And every Sunday, everyone's like, "Why they get disgusting?" The roof of your treehouse has moss all over it.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna have to have them clean the roof of the treehouse. So. Yeah, I've seen that. Ben Mala. Yeah, he did. He started with not much, and he's millions in Florida. And I think that's what happens. It's a slow build. So with real estate, even with me, it was a slow build. I started in 1980, that first building, and then just bought and then bought and then bought. And then before I knew it, in 2017, I was getting audited because I had too much and I was a mess. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there for a minute. So that's the thing. So, the haunted house grass needs to be cut. I'm glad you told me that. That's Laurel Hill Avenue, Brian. He's talking about Laurel Hill Avenue. He calls it the haunted house. It does look like a haunted mansion. It looks like the Munsters house. Do you remember the Munsters, Brian?
I do. I mostly saw that in syndication when I watched it.
Okay. Yeah, so we got to, the guys, so that's on the list this week. They've been getting caught up in the maintenance guys. So I have 3 people now. Of course, that was the whole thing last summer, whether we should hire our own landscapers or use an outside company. We hired our own landscapers. So far, it's worked out to be a great, great decision for a lot of reasons. But so far, it's been a great decision. They're doing a great job. And they go around to each property. They have a list of 67 properties to do. And, it's going to be 68 soon and 69 after that. So once we close on Johnston. But I don't know how you landscape that property. It's all, dirt and cars. Gentle Chiropractic on Post Road, right across from McDonald's. I know where that is. Right around the corner from my office. Okay. Yeah. In fact, in the next building next door to it is a East Side Lab. I go to the East Side Lab there and get my blood work done because it's right around the corner from my office. I know right where that is. Oh, all right. I think I will. I'll go there and try it. Why not? It's a foot high. What's a foot high? Oh, the grass, really? That's interesting. Brian, remind me tomorrow morning to tell them at the office.
Absolutely.
Remind me tomorrow morning to tell them about the office. All right, Coco Desire, I appreciate that. So remind me so I can tell them to get over there and put that on their priority list. If it's a foot high, that's bad. You know what I'm saying? So I know they were behind last week on getting caught up on some stuff, So Bryan can't run for mayor of Warwick because he lives in East Providence, The problem is to become the mayor of Warwick, all you have to do is decorate your house for Christmas and people love you. You don't have to be a manager. You don't have to be a decision maker. You just decorate your house for, people, they don't want, when people say that some voters are dumb, I see what they mean by that because, don't you want to elect somebody that's going to really, have a plan for the city or the town, But anyway, all right. But Brian, they want you to run for mayor of East Providence.
Yeah, I'll give him a shot.
How is East Providence to live in?
We are. It's right off the highway, so it's fantastic. It's good. There's a lot from. I like it. To be 100%. I like it because it's right.
Yeah.
On Route 6 there.
It is nice to be right off the highway. I mean, no matter where you live, you're right off the highway. You can get to. So Coco Desire, yeah. What happened was this. So I don't want anybody to take this all the wrong way. The mayor of Warwick is a really nice guy. He's a really nice guy. The problem is that nice doesn't further the city. The nice doesn't increase the tax base. But he is a nice guy, and that's why he was elected. He was elected because he's a nice guy and decorated the house for Christmas, and that's how people know him. But it's a shame because. He also ran on the premise that he was going to make changes and he was going to improve the city, make changes to the city, and he didn't. He kept all the same staff, kept all the same people, kept everything in place, and that's a shame. And where I am a taxpayer that pay $300,000 a year in taxes to the city of Warwick, and I asked for a meeting and talked to him about I didn't ask him to yell at the building inspector. I didn't ask him to tell the building inspector what to do. I asked for a meeting to get us in a room so we can work out our differences because I'm a talker. As you can tell, I talk. I'll negotiate. I'll work it out. Listen, if I'm wrong, I'll lick my wounds. But the mayor couldn't even do that. He didn't have the balls. He doesn't have the balls to say to his building inspector, hey, you work for me, get in a room with Mr. Butler and work out your problems. Not even that. So that's why I have a problem with the mayor of Warwick, just so everyone has a clear understanding. I'm not asking him to tell his employee what to do. I'm telling him, get us in a meeting, and at least that way I can have my day with him and say, look, let's try to work it out, Al. If we can't work it out, fine, we'll shake hands, we'll go away like gentlemen. And the mayor, every year and a half now, could not even have done that. Could not even do that. So, oh wow, make money. You were the head chef at Greg's in East Providence 25 years ago. How do you like that one, Bryan? Greg's, you know what Greg's is in East Providence, don't you? Right?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's right off the highway. I love Greg's, by the way, makes money. You know, we go there almost every Saturday. We go to Greg's for the prime rib lunch. The family, I love their prime rib.
I don't know Diaz Brothers, but I'm driven by it.
Yeah. Do you know Diaz Brothers Masonry in East Providence?
No, that's what I was just saying. I don't know, but I've driven by it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Okay. But so listen, what I want to do is this. I want to have I was talking about this last week, especially when Sergeant Schroka was on here and stuff. I want to set up a meet and greet for all the local Rhode Island, Southeast Massachusetts people can come and we can meet. Like whether they're on TikTok and I follow them, or they're on TikTok and they follow me, or they join my lives on Sunday. I think it would be fun to have an event. We should pick a place that would be kind of cool where we can have a meet and greet, and I'll cater it. And we'll invite people. Don't you think that'd be fun?
I think it would. Yeah, absolutely.
So the question would be, what's a great day and time to do it? Would it be a Sunday afternoon, or is that like a pain in the neck for people to go on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday night instead of doing my live? Do we do that? Yeah, the Foxy Lady. I don't think so. Well, that would be a whole separate meet and greet. Foxy Lady. That would be a different type of meet and greet. But no, I was thinking that'd be fun. I think that'd be fun. Oh, Chicken Bucket. I guess the Diaz brothers are Chicken Bucket's brother-in-laws. So they do. So that's good. They do masonry. Well, that's good to know anyway.
Definitely good to know.
That's absolutely good to know. I will let Andrew know that, Chicken Bucket. I definitely let him know. So Chicken Bucket, you live in Ohio, but your brother-in-laws live in East Providence? That's good. That's interesting. See how he follows us all the way from Ohio. You know? So, Legs and Eggs on Friday. Well, yeah. I think they must still have Legs and Eggs. You know, as you know, Makes Money, I used to DJ at the Foxy Lady. That was one of my early DJs. In fact, I was the very first DJ the Foxy ever had. They built the DJ booth specifically for me in 1990, and I was their very first disc jockey they ever had. Did you know that, Bryan?
No, I actually did not know that.
Yep, I was the first DJ at the Foxy for a year. What?
You did actually tell me about that at once, yes.
Yeah, yep. I have some good stories. 7 of them, 7 brother-in-laws. Chicken Bucket has 7 brother-in-laws. They're all Masons. That's amazing. But yeah, no, I was their first disc jockey at the Foxy Lady in 1990. Very interesting because I was teaching at the time too. During the day, I was teaching. At night, I was playing music for half-naked women. So that was interesting. Oh, really? The Houseman in Brockton? Oh, the Foxy in Brockton. That's cool. You know? Yeah, Bryan likes girls. Bryan doesn't like girls. He likes girls. That's why he said he wants to go to the Foxy. Makes money's busting your
I like girls.
I know that.
Look, it's been a minute. I've been if I had a choice, I would choose Desire over Foxy, but either one works.
Bryan, you've actually had a couple of hot girlfriends over the years now that I think about it.
I have.
I know.
I mean,
You let them slip right through your fingers.
I'm not bragging, but it has happened, yes.
Oh, thank you, Tyler. That's my backyard. That's my tree house right there with a light on it. And you can't see it, but I have a zip line that goes that way the kids use. But yeah, no, I like my view behind me. It's woods back here. They did build a couple houses over there, but it's all woods back here in a watershed. So that will always be private. On the other side of those woods is a country club, a golf course. In fact, I flew my drone over it the other day. Remember, Bryan, I showed that to you the other day. So that's the hey, maybe I can do that. I can do a live from the zip line some night. I'll take the phone on the zip line with me. Because I do the zip line, it's fun, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So, absolutely. Let's see, where was that? I want to make sure I didn't miss it. Oh, you know what? There was a couple of questions on my phone that I wanted to answer earlier. I always forget to go to those during my live, you know? Oh, let's see, where are they? So, Bryan, do you have any? What conferences do you have coming up that you sold? Anything good?
I got one in San Francisco next week, and then I got one in Indianapolis in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that.
Where is it?
That's next June. Oh, well, not next June, this June.
Okay. All right. Good.
That's about 3 weeks away. I got one before that in San Francisco, and I got some fire, so to speak, for July.
Okay.
June's gonna be a busy month for graduation.
June is going to be extremely busy. I'm a little nervous about June, but it's going to be extremely busy. Very, very busy. Very busy. But let's see, what else was there? Oh, so rent relief. Rent relief ends in June 1st. No more rent relief. I am thrilled. No more rent relief June 1st. No more rent relief. That's going to change some things. It's going to force people to either get evicted or go to work to pay for their rent. So that's something we'll be talking about over the next few weeks, because people are asking about the rent relief. So that's big. That's big on that one. You know what I'm saying? The Honeywell app is working on a couple of the properties, but not on some, because I don't have the right hardware there. I got to figure out what I need for hardware there. So TripAdvisor gave Dodge 4 stars. All right, I'm fine with that. It's interesting because I've talked about that, Thomas. I've talked about Google reviews, TripAdvisor, Yelp, all those. What's interesting about TripAdvisor, I think, is it's more accurate than Google reviews or Yelp. Now, the reason I say that is because if somebody's pissed off at you, they're going to go on Google reviews and just give you a negative comment. Now, for instance, I guarantee you, tenants that are evicted, they're not going to give me a positive comment on Google reviews. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. So if you go on Homewood Realty, you see negative comments, it's probably a tenant I evicted, right? So chances are. So that's why I find the Google reviews not to be accurate. But yeah, I would say Yelp is accurate. But the problem is too, most people that comment, for the most part, I find are people that had a negative experience. I don't know, Bryan, what do you think? You were in the restaurant business, D'Angelo's. I mean, what did you find? Or even at the pizza place, Tim and Angie's, what did you find?
For reviews?
Yeah, negative reviews. Do you think people went on there purposely because they thought they had a great experience and gave you a positive review? Or do you think they went on there because they were pissed off?
Statistically speaking, you're more likely to get a negative. That's mostly because people naturally react to negative emotions a lot stronger than they do to positive emotions. So, that being said, I give reviews usually with Grubhub, or like if I use the Taco Bell app, for instance, when they request it, a lot of people don't give a review. If I call customer service for my insurance or my cell phone, a lot of times I'll ask for a review, and I'll give it if it's easy, simple, 1 to 10 scale, stuff like that. If I gotta write all about it, I'm not gonna do that. So.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. So I find if people are pissed off, they're gonna look to give a negative review. Yeah. I've done it. If I'm pissed off at somebody, I'll go on and give a negative review, I
would argue that the better indicator of the quality or at least the business itself is the amount of reviews you got.
Right.
Not so much whether they're positive or negative. The more reviews, the more business they've generated, which means word of mouth is telling people to go there.
Right. All right. Tyler, you're right. I am so glad that it should have stopped a year ago. They kept it on way too long. The rent relief, way too long. Should have stopped a year ago. People would be working right now. Businesses wouldn't be short-staffed right now. We wouldn't be paying more right now for services, I believe, in my opinion. They kept it on way too long, the rent relief. So I'm glad they stopped that. Makes money. Regarding the state giving out the money, so yeah, what happened was this. They're telling two different stories. We've checked twice, and what happens is that, they're not paying rent. They can apply for the rent relief, but they only have 2 weeks to apply. So it's kind of a joke that they did this announcement last week. But right now they're giving the $3,000 for the first apartment. They're giving $1,000 for each additional apartment, and they are giving up to $3,000 to renovate an apartment. They are giving you that money. What we as a landlord can do is we can vet the tenant. So some of these homeless people do have jobs or do have Section 8 or do have other income. So obviously, like I told my staff the other day, if we're going to participate in that program, I want you to pick these tenants, these potential tenants, ones that have jobs or potential jobs, pick them to move into our apartments. Don't pick somebody that has no hopes of getting a job, because that means in 2 months we're going to be evicting them anyway. Makes sense, right, Bryan?
Absolutely.
Turning on the lamp over here. During my live, it gets dark every Sunday. But anyway, so that's the issue with that, I know I say that too much. That being said, I know. That being said, but yeah, so I'm glad the rent relief is ending finally. I'm glad that people are going to be getting back to work finally. I hope. I'm hoping the unemployment runs out. So there's still, you drive around, every place still has, hiring signs. Well, then where are the people? Where are the people? Now, by the way, I must have to say, how they tell you that every month they announce the unemployment rate goes down, goes down, goes down. The unemployment rate going down is not people getting employed, it's people getting knocked off of unemployment. They're fake numbers. So keep that in mind. When you see unemployment went down this month, it didn't go down. The unemployment numbers went down, but it doesn't mean they're going out and getting jobs. Well, they were on rent relief for last year, right? What's going to really be interesting is what happens over the next 90 days, I think. How many people now, it runs out June 1st, some people are like, well, I think I'll take the summer off and try to look for a job in September. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, the other thing is that I can throw the numbers off. A lot of times, the amount of job may decrease or increase, which can impact it.
Exactly.
There might be less jobs to have, and that look the number go down just because percentage-wise, it's,
right,
less.
So Tyler's asking me, what's your plans for the businesses when you decide to retire? So that's a good question, Tyler, and it's interesting because I never really thought about it till a couple months ago when I started having this back and leg pain, when I thought it was something worse than it was. It's still bad. It is bad because it's slowing me down. But anyway, so I started thinking about more now. So I'm lucky because where Bryan is 20 years younger than me, and Andrew's 20 years younger than me, and Mark is 20 years younger than me. I'm lucky because as I slow down, when I get older and slow down, I do have the younger generation, the next generation that can take over and run the businesses and keep the businesses going. I assume they're going to want to keep them going because they want to have a career, right, Bryan? You want to keep the businesses going, right? So, but yeah, I'm even now starting to pull myself back even more, where I do a lot of the events for audiovisual where I don't want to do them anymore, and I'm going to have the guys that work for audiovisual take over some of the stuff that I even do.
Look, Rocky Mountain Oyster Fever didn't take you out, and neither did the knee thing. You're not retired on soon, so you don't have to worry about that. Right.
So it's interesting because Butler's Beauties, when we had a nightclub in Providence, that was one of the things that my partners I always talked about. It would have been nice to have a dance club. It would have been nice to have a gentleman's club or an adult dance club. It would have been nice. My wife wasn't really keen on the idea of it. It's the image of it all. For me, it was business. Because even when I owned the club, I didn't go to the club that often. I was running my audiovisual business. I was running my real estate. I really didn't go to the club that often.
We need to do a calendar.
Huh?
I said we need to do a calendar.
Yeah, that's it. A calendar at the office, right? That's it. But so that's why but yeah, no. So everyone, I'm going to keep it in the family. Definitely going to keep it in the family. Even my wife. So my wife is younger than me. Obviously, she's 13 years younger than me. So, not that she wants to keep working her whole life either. I talked about this last week. My goal is when my daughter gets done in high school and she gets to college, which is in 6 years, that's when it will be time for me to really take some time off, and my wife takes some time off so we can travel and have some fun. But we want to make sure our kids are both in college at the time. So my daughter will be in college in 6 years. That's when I really will be free to travel and do things and really step back. But yeah, it's nice to have the next generation kind of take over and keep everything going. And then, yeah, we can depending on what's going on with the businesses, whether I sell the businesses to them or a piece of the business to them or whatever I do, because I don't think my kids are going to have any interest in doing the business. And the last thing I would do is tell my kids, okay, you graduated from college, now you're going to come run these businesses. Absolutely not. Never will do it. I never want to force anybody to do something they don't want to do. And I want them to have the opportunity to work for my businesses. So, like, Benjamin works at the ice cream shop. Emily will work at the ice cream shop. Emily actually helped me a couple weeks ago with an audiovisual job. She did a great job. 13 years old. In fact, she did as good of a job as one of my AV technicians does, helping with equipment that day. And I paid her just like one of the AV technicians because she did a great job. So, all right, Chicken Bucket will take over the junkyard. Yeah, you know why? Because Mike is older than me, so I don't know how long Mike's going to do that for. That's a good point. Mike's going to run Mike is going to be managing that property when we close on it in a month or so. But Mike is actually older than me. I mean, I don't know, Brian. Has Mike ever hinted around to you when he's going to retire? He's in his early 60s.
No, but he does say I'm too old for this shit sometimes.
Yeah, but he said that when he was 50. But anyway, so that's a good point, Chicken Bucket. Thanks makes money. I appreciate that. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with all the businesses. I mean, Andrew obviously will continue running the real estate. As long as you have a good management team in there and good maintenance people, the real estate will run itself. The audiovisual business is one that you have to have a sales team in place. You always have to be selling. So that's a good point too. The difference between all the businesses, right? The real estate that runs itself. As long as you maintain the property and you rent the apartments, it maintains itself. The ice cream shops manage them correctly, open up the stores. People come buy ice cream. They'll manage themselves, right? The audiovisual business is the only one that you constantly have to be selling. You have to have a sales staff, right, Brian? I mean,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so that particular business is very difficult for that reason because you have to be selling. If I didn't have 3 people in the office selling, we wouldn't have any customers. You have to.
I was going to say the way we do it specifically, we can get away with 3 salespeople. If we get to a point where we're selling, where we can hire more AV technicians, maybe bring in another salesman to increase, what that is. But the amount of work that Joe and Mark do on a daily basis just to get the sales. I mean, I do what I can to keep up. I'm not as good as those guys are. And we still have, sales every single month.
Right.
So.
Right. But that's why the audiovisual business is a hands-on business because you have to have salespeople selling. If you're not selling, it will go away. There won't be any business.
It's all hours, like the other businesses aren't necessarily all hours.
Right. The other thing is...
I had a client that's in London that emailed me last night. I just happened to be up at 3 a.m. and I responded to her.
Yeah. No, so Chicken Bucket, you're right. I need some more nephews. I've run out of nephews to run the businesses. So, which is, I will say a sad note I will mention. A couple of years ago, I did... one of my nephews did move here from California to work for me, and he passed away suddenly after he moved to Rhode Island, which was a sad thing. He was going to work for Elmwood Realty. That was a sad thing. It was Brian's cousin, actually, and completely unexpected, and that was sad. So he would, at this point, still be working for me at this time, too, if he was still here, which was unfortunate. So he was another nephew, but it was a cousin of Brian's. And, of course, I did offer my niece a job a few weeks ago. She turned me down.
And then your other niece, Brittany, was my sister.
What?
She manages the Cranston Petco, and she's doing a great job for herself there. Otherwise, you would definitely be able to find a position.
Yeah. Brian's sister. So Brian's sister, younger sister, used to work for me years ago. Worked for me on my ice cream shops years ago, scooping ice cream. She was great.
Yep.
Hard worker. So I will tell you, the Butler family, that family, hard workers. Brian, his sister, Brittany, and Andrew are very, very hard workers. Yeah. So Brittany is a store manager of a Petco, and she's fantastic. But their cousin, I offered a job to a couple weeks ago to run this new potential business that I might be making a big announcement about this week, and she wants to stay in Florida. Who the hell wants to live in Florida year round in the hot sun?
Well, I think Grammy and Pop.
Yeah. That's true, Brian. If you find a wife, that could be another employee. Make money. Just said that. You get right.
It's true. I should advertise on Craigslist looking for a wife to be part of the family business.
Yep, exactly. So that's the only thing I'm lucky about, that I got you and obviously Andrew, there, and Mark is in his 30s. We have so we have this great second generation. So when Mike leaves, I leave, Joe leaves, we have the second generation to take over. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
Nicole, who's running Butler Waste, she's young, so she'll be around for a while, I guess, if she wants to be, right? So, that's true. I have my nephew Tim. But then again, is Tim my age, or is he younger than me?
He's a little younger, not much younger.
So he's what?
I said he's a little bit younger, but not much younger.
Okay, yeah, because he's Phil. So Tim's great employee. So Make Money was just saying that he and Chicken Bucket can be honorary butlers. Yes, they could be. That's for sure. They could be. They could be honorary butlers. Let's see, what else do we have? Anyway, well, you know what? I have another. I wanted to answer a couple more questions before I leave. I hate missing questions. You know what I'm saying? Because then I feel bad. Plus, I have to deal with something too, Bryan. Because at the beginning of my live, there was a tenant on saying that somebody didn't fix her leak. So tomorrow I got to talk to Andrew about that one. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know who that was. So I got to figure. There's 380 tenants, and when they come on here on TikTok, I don't know who they are. Their name on TikTok. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So I got to ask Andrew tomorrow, who's the person with the leak that was on TikTok asking about a leak. I mean, again, I don't mind them coming down here because obviously, if they didn't get service, but at the same time, I'm sure there was two sides to the story. We don't ignore leaks either.
Well, it's like there's a lot of times where people will email the website and then call, or vice versa.
Right.
And we haven't even had a chance to even process what has been written down or what they've requested, or if it's pricing, put it together to give them an honest answer. And that's sometimes they're just reaching out on all sources that they have a possibility to reach out to you on.
I have a question on TikTok, which I'm going to reply with a video, but I'm going to do it live right now during my live, because this person asked a good question, and they asked me a couple times, so I feel bad. I want to get back to them. So, hey, TikTok, how you doing? This is Jeff. I'm answering the question about, does the conversion table work for you? How's the conversion table working? The inversion table. So I bought an inversion table, Bryan. You know what that is? Where you lay on it and you go up, you tilt backwards, upside down. It stretches your body.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm on my live answering the question. So anyway, the table seems to have worked. So in the short term, so in other words, if I go on it right now, I'll feel good for about 15, 20 minutes when I get off of it, but then the pain comes back a little while. Maybe I'm not on it long enough, or maybe I'm not doing it enough. But on the short term, it's kind of like going in the hot tub. It gives me instant relief for the moment that I'm on it. Like in the hot tub, when I go in the hot tub, it gives me instant relief for the moment I'm in it. But then once I get out of it, I'm back in pain again. Same thing with the inversion table. A little while later, I'm back in pain again. But the inversion table only cost me $120 on the Amazon. And listen, I would have paid $50,000. It would get rid of my pain, right? So for the $120, it's definitely worth it. It definitely has worked for me. I just have to go on it more often, I guess, when I'm in pain.
Yeah.
I guess that's the answer to that one.
That stretches your back out, huh?
Well, it stretches, yeah. So when you lay on it, so it holds your feet in. So what it is, you're held in by your feet. I should say what an inversion table is for people who don't know it. So it's this table that you lay flat on, okay? And it locks your feet in, and you tip backwards, and so you're hanging by your feet. And you could actually go completely upside down if you want, because then the blood rushes to your head and this and that. So, but the inversion, you can go completely upside down if you want. But it definitely is done. It's worked. It's worked.
Yeah.
So I just answered this person's question on TikTok. So now I can actually post it at the same time I'm on here doing my live. That's kind of cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that was good. At least I answered their question. Well, I feel bad when people ask me questions and I don't get to them. I forgot to them. So I am going to try the chiropractor, Coco. Yeah, in fact, I'll call tomorrow and see if I can make an appointment. That'll be good. That'll be real good. So anyway. Make Money says I'm the best uncle. So I was going to take Make Money to the Nordic Lodge. So here's the problem, Make Money, the Nordic Lodge. Here's the problem with the Nordic Lodge. If you go on Saturday, they don't take reservations. So you have to go there and you have to wait in line 3 hours to get a table. Sundays, they allow you to buy the tickets in advance and make reservations. That's why I prefer going on Sundays. But see, Makes Money can't go on Sunday because he has a flea market that he participates in. So that's the reason why he can't go on Sundays. Which, but that's why I just wanted him to know why I like the Sundays, because you can make reservations. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Bryan?
Yes.
So that's what I like about that. What's for dinner? So that's a good question. What's for dinner? Not having dinner right now. We already had dinner today. We had pork chops. So, Chris, at times...
leftover Chinese.
Huh?
But I had leftover Chinese.
Oh, I like leftover Chinese.
Yeah.
I like, me, I like new Chinese and I like leftover Chinese.
So, anyway, let's see. So I answered that question, which was a good question about the... I answered his question about the inversion table. Everyone, I got to tell you something. You know what's amazing, by the way, Bryan? Everybody on TikTok, there are a lot of people with back and leg pain. There really are. When I go to the physical therapist, that office is full. I went to the pain clinic last week. That office was full. I look in the window where the office is, where the receptionist worked. There was like 10 people in there taking orders for appointments or whatever. It's unbelievable how many people
It's crazy.
have leg and back pain. And I didn't get in a car accident. I didn't fall. This came on suddenly. It's a mystery to me. You know
exactly.
It was a mystery to me. So people are asking me that, It's interesting because when I did the TikTok about the banks, the Zelle and the Cash App, there's been so many people that comment on that. So I was talking about it earlier tonight. As a property owner, as a landlord, you shouldn't take PayPal, you shouldn't take a third-party app, you shouldn't take Cash App, you shouldn't take credit cards, because unscrupulous tenants could dispute their charge after and screw you. So just so you know that, Bryan. I don't know if you know that, Bryan.
I didn't, but now I do.
So, somebody's asking me what happened between me and the building inspector in Warwick. It seems like it's personal. And I've talked about this before. If I got in a room with him, I don't care. No microphones, no cameras, no nothing. Tell me what I did. Tell me why it's personal. It is personal. He's made it very personal. Absolutely, he's made it personal. I'd like to know what I did. So what I did, though, I forgot to tell everybody about this. To take the argument away, or to take his pleasure away in busting my balls or my staff's balls, I hired a third-party company that's going to take over my projects in Warwick. That way, guess what? He doesn't get the pleasure in busting my balls, but I get the pleasure because I'm still suing him for the slanderous letter he sent on January 3rd, 2022. I have not forgotten about it. My lawyer hasn't forgotten about it, and they're going to hear about it, and that's going to be... it's going to be a pleasure. That's why he may be winning the little battles here and there, but it's who wins the war. So I hired a company, a third-party company, is going to manage all my projects. That way, it doesn't look like I'm busting his balls. I'm not picking on him. I'm not stoking the fire. I'm not pushing his buttons. No, I'm a bigger person than that. So let somebody else, handle my projects in Warwick, because I can handle all my other projects, because he has some explaining to do. How come I have 12 properties in Warwick. All my other properties are in every other city in town. I've never had a problem except in Warwick. So, but the slanderous letter is what's going to end up, I'm going to win on that one.
Yep, I know exactly.
So let's see. Yeah, okay, so the inversion table, they're suggesting 10 minutes a day, 2 times a day. 10 minutes, 2 times a day. So I can't say I've been doing it for 10 minutes, 2 times a day. I do it like once a day, and if it doesn't work, I get frustrated and I move on to either my heating pad or my ice pack or my massage pillow. What else have I been doing? Or jump in the hot tub. These are all different remedies I've tried, and nothing's worked. Drew Brees is done with NBC Sports? That was kind of quick, wasn't it? How long's Drew Brees been with NBC Sports? Bryan?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
They just said, makes money, gives me the update sports reports during my TikTok lives.
So, Make Money can handle projects. I'd love to have him handle projects. I got a couple plumbing. I got a couple like emergency plumbing things I need done. But Make Money is so busy making money. He doesn't have any money, any time to make money from me. So, yeah, he's a busy guy. 1 year. Okay, 1 year. Make Money's a plumber, Bryan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I did not either until a couple weeks ago. We were talking. Yep. And you know me, I'm always behind on plumbing. Seems to be the one thing I'm always behind on. I'm looking at any of my other questions. I guess I've answered all my questions. Like I said, the big thing for me tomorrow is I have to remind the guys to go do. I see things come out of TikTok. I gotta get hold of Andrew and ask him what's going on with the tenant with the leaky ceiling, because that's concerning me. And Absara. Coco, Absara, that is my favorite restaurant. Bryan, can you believe that? Coco Desire. So let me tell you about Absara Coco Desire, okay? In 1997, that's how I know about Absara. So when I opened up my nightclub, Club Hell, my partners were Rich Lupo, who owned Lupo's Hot Break Hotel, okay, and Joe Brody, who still works for me today. Joe Brody works for my audiovisual company. So we were going to have a meeting. So Joe Brody says, Jeff, I know you like Chinese food. I'm going to take you to this great place called Absara. It's in South Providence. It's my favorite restaurant. We go there all the time. During COVID, they weren't doing the seating. They haven't, I don't think they're still doing the seating. They aggravate me. But here's a funny story about Absara, okay? First of all, the Cambodian egg rolls, you can't beat them. Their hot and sour soup is the best. Their chicken drunken noodle. Now you got me started on Absara. That is unbelievable. Absara is the best restaurant. And I guess there's one on the east side too. I've never been to that one. But the one off Elmwood Avenue, are you kidding? So here's a funny story, Bryan. So my son Benjamin, when he was 4 years old, he had a little stuffed chinchilla, stuffed animal chinchilla. So we went to Absara. Now I live in Cranston, Western Cranston. So we went to Absara for dinner that night. So Benjamin was there. We all had our dinner, and he loves the Cambodian egg rolls, right? So now we leave Absara. We drive all the way home. Benjamin's crying. His chinchilla's missing. He's having a tantrum. It's awful. He's nuts. He's crazy. So I have to call the restaurant. Did we leave a stuffed chinchilla there? And sure enough, it was there. I had to drive all the way back to Absara to get the chinchilla. But no, Absara is an unbelievable, it really is my favorite Asian restaurant in the area. It really is. Bryan, have you not been there?
I've been there. Tremendous drunken noodles.
So I've gone to Absara. Somebody said he was sick one time, but I got to tell you, I've been to Absara 500 times since 1997, and I haven't gotten sick there. But I guess anywhere you eat, somebody can get sick on something or something. But no, I'll tell you something. We were doing the takeout during COVID from Absara, and the hot and sour soup is the best. I love the hot and sour soup. I love that.
Absara is excellent. My favorite is Cafe Garden.
Well, Cafe Garden is good. But, of course, I love Chef Ho in West Warwick. Chef Ho is one of my favorites, too. I love Chef Ho.
It's become a good place. Yep.
So one of my real estate agents, Fang, she used to own a restaurant called Eastern Star in Warwick. And she's Chinese, obviously, and her husband was the chef there. And that was my favorite restaurant for 15 years until they sold it. That was unbelievable. And I actually met her going into the restaurant and found out she was a real estate agent, and that's how we met back in 2004. But her restaurant was unbelievable. Great restaurant. In fact, she's catered parties for me and everything, They stopped the hot and sour. Yes, I know they. Yeah, you're right. Did they not bring it back yet, the hot and sour soup? Because they stopped it during the damn COVID. They stopped the hot and sour soup, Coco, during COVID. They haven't brought it back. Ugh. See, I don't get that. I don't know what they're thinking. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense because it's the best hot and sour soup. My wife likes the dumplings there. I love the chicken drunken noodle. Nobody else makes a chicken drunken noodle like they do. What it is, it's spicy noodles and chicken. Really spicy. It clears out your sinuses, Bryan. The chicken drunken noodle.
It's fantastic for that.
If you like spicy, it's spicy, So But yeah, that's funny. But Rhode Island, people don't realize this. Oh yeah, the wings are unbelievable. People don't realize Rhode Island has an unbelievable of numbers of great Chinese restaurants. We really do. We really do have a great number of great Chinese restaurants. Every single city, I'm sure we can all name great Chinese restaurants, right?
Absolutely.
Cafe Dragon, right? Hong Kong Buffet has always been good. In Cranston,
Yeah, that's Ian's favorite.
What's that? Many people don't know that Jeff pays the food bill at the orphanage here every month. Sour Heath. I don't know who Sour Heath is, but I love Dragon Villa and Lincoln. And the other one, what's the other one that's up at the Lincoln Mall too? The Asia Grill. Little story there. So Charlie Chin, who owns the Asia Grill, he used to own the Islander in Warwick, and that's how I became friendly with him. I seem to be friendly with a lot of Chinese restaurant people. And of course, Lemongrass is where we had our Christmas party this year, and they did a great job catering that Christmas party. We had it right at Lemongrass. The staff loved it. The open bar, right, Bryan? Everyone enjoyed that party.
They did. Lemongrass is really good. The only negative is the reward point program. It takes forever to earn anything.
Oh yeah, the reward point system sucks. And so what's interesting about Lemongrass? So I've had my Christmas party at Twin Oaks for 20 years for my employees. And Twin Oaks kind of hurt my feelings this year. And of course, I'm a regular customer there. And you know what? They hurt my feelings, and we ended up moving our party over to Lemongrass. And the staff actually enjoyed it more.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. There's just a bigger selection. Everyone loves Chinese.
Mineral Spring Avenue, the Soul Chow Mein sandwich. No, I don't remember that one on Mineral Spring Avenue. I remember Oki Steakhouse, the Japanese steakhouse on Mineral Spring Avenue, but I don't remember that one. Make money. It's funny. I thought about it. I go to so many restaurants. We eat out, so I was thinking of just doing TikToks and doing reviews of restaurants. And throwing those into my TikToks too, because we go to so many. See, Bryan, the problem with you is the only
do a podcast for that.
You're right. I was thinking about that. Since I set the podcast, equipment now, I was thinking I could do just a restaurant, but there's so many people that do that in Rhode Island. You know what I'm saying? Of course, yours could be every single Taco Bell. You could just go to a different Taco Bell every day, and then we could do a podcast on the Taco Bells. 25 cents for a chow mein sandwich.
The problem is Jeff finance all of his properties in order to afford taking me out for that dinner podcast.
That's right. That's right. But anyway, no, I love Chinese food. I always have. I grew up on it. When we were growing up, my parents used to take us out to Chinese food once a week, and my kids have too. So that's what's funny about my kids, since they were little, Chinese and Japanese food. We get sushi a lot. In fact, Thursday night, that's what we had. We had sushi Thursday night from Haruki. Because Chris had to go to a meeting for work, so I got takeout from Haruki. And the kids love their California rolls, and chicken teriyaki. But yeah, so that's why there's so many good restaurants in Rhode Island. I mean, I know I go to Florida to visit my parents. I cannot find a good Chinese restaurant, and they'll say it. There's no good Chinese restaurant down there. Where's that, Coco? Where's that? Fatsana Sushi, where is that? Because I'll tell you, Lemongrass is good sushi. So the only places where, so Haruki I have sushi, and of course Lemongrass has sushi. But where is that, Coco? Where is that? Oh yeah. It's up the street from yeah. So that's interesting. So it's on the other side of Revolution. It's on the other side in the village. I know where it is. No, I have not tried it. It's good. I have not tried it. So the thing about the village for me, right? That's good to know. So the village is in Cranston, but it's completely the opposite side of the city from where I live. So it takes me about 20, 25 minutes to get there. Not too far. But, I don't find myself going to the village unless I'm going to the ice cream shop or to my properties in the village or something. But I have a Thai restaurant in my building that's pretty good. I haven't been there in a while. It just changed ownership. But that's pretty good too. They had a good drunken noodle as well. But I haven't been to the
really
new one.
good hot soup.
All right, so I will try that. I will try the sushi. Coco's given me some really good advice tonight between chiropractic and sushi. Coco's been really, really educational for me tonight. So that's good. I appreciate that, you know. So you know what's interesting about TikTok? I don't know how the algorithm works, right? So obviously there's a lot of local people on that come on my lives and join my lives, and we're talking about local stuff tonight. And people in California may not care, you know, whatever, may not. But I don't know how. It's interesting how the algorithm works. Do the people locally get notified that I'm on more? I don't know how that works. You know, what do you think, Bryan? How do you think that works?
Which part?
Well, the fact that, you know, there's so many local people makes money. Coco, well, I mean, obviously Chicken Bucket's not local, but he's kind of local because he has relatives local. How they're finding me on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how that works.
There's probably some sort of algorithm, and you probably put a hashtag somewhere that drew people to it. And, you know, once you get a couple people around the country, then other people that are near them might get, you know, on the For You page.
Yep. Yeah, you might be right. You know?
I'll tell you, my app or video on my page is actually kind of blowing up.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good.
For me, anyways. I don't get the kind of views you get, but, you know.
Yeah, but no, so this is good, though. So Coco's giving me two places I'm going to try, the chiropractor and the sushi in the village, which obviously, so you guys, Bryan, every day, you guys are ordering lunch out every day. I'm surprised you're not ordering anything from the village. It's right down the street.
From which one?
Well, the Patuxent Village is right down the street from the office. It's not too far away.
Oh.
You guys are buying food from all over the state.
We do. There's a couple places that are down near there that we get food from. There's, I think, Narragansett Deli or whatever. We've gotten food there a couple times.
So I'm getting some positive feedback. So this person here told me that I should keep going to the physical therapy, that over time it will keep helping me and my pain will eventually go away. I just have to keep going physical therapy and just be patient, and it will. And I listen. I have to be optimistic that that's true and that that's going to work. You know, I agree. I got to be patient, and but I got to tell you something. It's a distraction. It's a distraction. You know, so. And you know, I'm not my normal, usual, pleasant self right now, too, when I come in the office, right? Am I right, Bryan? Because of the pain, right? I'm a little bit shorter than usual.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I thought you've been more fun at the office when you come in there.
More fun when I come in there or when I'm gone?
Well, when you come in there, it's been more relaxed. I mean, when you're in there,
because I don't want to work.
A lot of time to let the stuff irritate you because you have to go to therapy or you have this pain or whatever. And I think that has a lot to do with it. Because there's a lot of minor irritations, and I think for you, the struggle is letting, Andrew or me or Mark or Joe handle things because you always want to help out. So it stresses you out because you feel like you need things.
Yeah, no, I guess you're right.
Oh,
what's this one here? Thomas, ever try Korean barbecue where they cook the food at your table?
Thomas, I just saw.
I have not tried that yet, Bryan. I have not tried Korean barbecue. I heard it's
I've had Korean barbecue, but I've never had it where they cook it at a table. Korean barbecue tends to be kind of awesome because, like, the sandwiches and stuff that they make, you get the cold, sort of coleslaw, you get the spicy hot meat. It's good stuff.
Okay, so it's good.
Yeah, Korean style food is really good.
So yeah, because I have not tried Korean barbecue. I have not. I mean, I've seen a couple of places around, but I haven't tried it.
Listen, it's very barbecue food you guys will not say you like or I've had. Put them on the table.
Okay. All right. I will try anything once, by the way. I've tried all different foods. I will try anything once.
By the way, that being said, I wonder how much the Nordic Lodge is this year. I haven't seen what the price is this year, what the lobster prices. Oh, let's talk about that. So I saw in the news the other night, they're saying lobster's going to be between $18 and $20. I mean, a lobster that for like a pound and a half lobster, that's ridiculous. I guess it's gone way up again this year. Why are the lobsters up? What, are they on strike too? Are they on unemployment? Why are the lobsters so expensive?
I think we're going to have to
How are we going to have our employee party? See, I do an employee
It's gonna
party.
be a clam cake fest instead of a lobster fest.
Yeah, I know. Because how do we do all you can eat? So I usually do an all you can eat lobster employee party every year. But I saw the prices are going to go up. I mean, you got to take out a loan to have our party. I don't understand that one at all.
You're gonna have to sell 2 properties just to have that party this year.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy.
But I don't understand why the price of I don't know what the argument would be. Why they would be up because can they
I
not?
mean, might be less fishermen, but might be the transportation thing.
Here we go. 2022 pricing for the Nordic Lodge. Oh, adults 125.
Oh, it ended last year. It went up to 123 at the end of the year, so it's only $2 more. So 125. That's not.
I'm saying that's not bad. I'm going to be, oh yeah, that's not bad for $25. So if people don't know what the Nordic Lodge is,
And that includes tax and gratuity too, by the way. The Nordic Lodge, I suggest everyone Google it. Better yet, go to YouTube and watch the YouTube documentary.
video.
The documentary on the Nordic Lodge. The Nordic Lodge is an unbelievable, high-quality buffet with all-you-can-eat lobster, big stuffed shrimp. I'm only going to give you a few of the highlights, okay? Lobster, big stuffed shrimp, king crab legs, Alaskan crab legs, snow crab legs, all you can eat. You can sit there, because you have 2-hour maximum, sit there for 2 hours and eat. Now, you know how much crab legs are a pound, right? $25 a pound, $30 a pound. You could sit there, and if you want to have 10 pounds of crab legs, go right ahead. You want to have 10 lobsters, go right ahead. They do not stop you, except for the time limit as how much food you can eat. They got steak, they got Angus beef, they got great steak. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's all top quality, right, Bryan?
Oh, yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Crab piece, Alaskan king crab, regular crab, it's unbelievable.
So it's $125 a person this year. It's still a great deal for what you're getting. I took Bryan and Tim there last year. Remember we went last year, Bryan?
I did.
So it's a great deal. Oh, milk went up. Oh, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So just like they are on strike, milk went up. I don't get the, yeah, well, exactly right. I mean, milk went up. Why? Because the cows are on strike, the cows are on unemployment, the cows are on rent relief. I don't understand. Certain things you can understand why the prices went up, right? But certain things I don't understand. I don't understand. Is it just because an excuse? Milk did go up. When milk went up and diesel prices went up, sure, the cost of my ice cream went up, right? So I understand why my ice cream went up to buy from the vendor because their prices went up. I understand that. But there are certain things like lobsters. I mean, the lobstermen are out cleaning out the traps, right? Just like they did before. It's not, it's not less lobsters. So that's a little strange. But anyway, so that's good to see the Nordic Lodge is $125. That's the same prices. 8 to 12 is the same price as last year, $58. So, okay. But anyway, Brazilian Rosizio is amazing. Oh yeah, no. So I love so that's a restaurant that my family likes. In fact, my daughter's birthday last month. That's what we went to. We went to the Brazilian Grill in Dartmouth, Mass. She loves the Brazilian Rodizio. Bryan, do you know what that is, right? Where they bring the meat to your table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, Brazilian steakhouses, absolutely. Fogo de Chao. Fogo de Chao was pretty much the staple. They're the industry standard for Brazilian steakhouses. If you go online, you look up Fogo de Chao. They're all over the country. Started in Brazil, but there are, I think, 12 or 14 of them around the United States. So whenever we do an audiovisual show and I go on the show and there's a Fogo de Chao in that city, I take the technicians there for dinner. So Chicago, we've been to San Diego, Washington, Baltimore. I can think of New York City. I can think of the places off the top of my head that we've gone to where we've been to a Fogo de Chao and Brazilian steakhouse. But yes, very good. Well, that's true, Chicken Bucket. Yeah, the boats. Yeah, that's true. The fuel cost for the boats went up. That's true. Oh, no, Fogo de Chao. Oh, yeah, Fogo de Chao in Chicago. I've been to that one like 3 times. And yeah, it's excellent. It's excellent. And like I said, I went to one in Washington, D.C. a couple times. Been to the one in San Diego. Where's the other one that we went to? Fogo de Chao. Baltimore. There's one in Baltimore. But yeah, no. So yeah, Fogo de Chao is great. But I've never been to Brazil, Coco. So that's good to know. But yeah, no, we like Fogo de Chao. And the closest thing to that here would be the Brazilian Grill, which is in Dartmouth, and it doesn't compare to Fogo de Chao, but it's the closest thing. And they do bring you all the different meats and beefs, and lamb. My wife loves lamb. They bring out the lamb and stuff like that, so it's great, But anyway, yeah, I could see the food, the fuel costs went up on boats. Maybe that raised the price of the lobsters this year a little bit. Hopefully, by the time we have our party at the end of July, beginning of August, the prices will come down again. This time of year, they always scare you, the lobster prices are out of control. But then again, if nobody buys lobster, then what happens, right? All of a sudden, the prices come down. Supply and demand. Supply and demand. Fogo de Chao in Boston.
The market just controls the lobster market.
What?
I said supply and demand. It controls the housing market just the way it does the lobster market.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, Fogo de Chao in Boston's Back Bay. So that's what I'm saying. There's only like 12 or 14. I mean, maybe there's some open since I've known about, but my best memory is 12, 14 in the United States, and I love them. And of course, that was one of the things we try to go to was different ones, kind of like Six Flags. We try to, every time we go on a trip, we try to go to a Six Flags because I have the season passes, right? So it's free to go to a Six Flags. But anyway, so... All right, so I think I answered those questions. I hope everybody enjoyed the live tonight. I know we talked about a lot of different stuff tonight, stuff that we didn't expect to talk about. Brazilian restaurants, food, right, which is different, right? What else did we talk about tonight? See, I do a recap when so I want to remind everybody a couple things. One is I always download my lives and I put them on my YouTube channel, Jeff Never Had Job Security. So that goes up on my YouTube channel later on tonight because it takes a while to download. It's not quick. And I'll put it on my YouTube channel. So if you joined live, you joined late, you want to have a laugh at me or whatever, you can watch it on YouTube later on. You need to fall asleep tonight, you can watch it on YouTube. It's a great sleep aid. And you can watch my lives on YouTube. Yeah, so Plymouth, Mass, Rio, yes, yep. And then also the Brazilian Grill that's in Dartmouth. I know there's one in Hyannis as well. They actually have two locations. They have one in oh no, I'm not going to. I'm going to remind Andrew about Diaz Brothers for masonry work, because we always seem to have some masonry work that we need to get done for something, whether it's small projects, big projects. So that's good to know. I appreciate that, Chicken Bucket. Make sure you stay in touch too. But anyway, yeah, so, I never ask for likes. I never ask for follows, but I appreciate every single like. I appreciate every single follow. I appreciate the questions I get throughout the week and the fact that people enjoy, following me. I think you see, I'll answer any question. I don't dodge any question. I'll answer them. I'll address any issues. I'll eat Chinese food. Yeah. Why not? Bryan, thanks for joining me again tonight. I know you didn't expect me to call you. It was kind of like a surprise thing tonight.
Yeah.
You can expect it from now on.
I will.
So anyway, again, if anyone has any more questions that I didn't get to tonight, or you think of a question after, just go on any of my TikToks. And you can, because I look at every single one of my replies. I look at every single comment. And if there's a question on there, as you can see, even tonight I answered some, but I'll do a video response. So I will respond to your question. And that tenant that was on earlier, if she's still on, I will find out tomorrow morning what's going on with that leak. Bryan, please remind me. And also about Laurel Hill Avenue. Make sure that's all set. And thanks, Thomas, for your comments, and Coco for your advice. I appreciate your advice. And Makes Money for moderating. You're always helpful on there. And your little jokes. Makes Money is such the comedian. Actually, you should try doing stand-up, make money. I went to that stand-up show last night. I put the TikTok up earlier of my wife's boss. So you should try doing stand-up sometime with your quick wit on here. Anyway, thanks again for everybody for joining me. I always try to get to it during the week. It's really tough, though, with this pain, with this distraction. I like doing them in the middle of the week, though, because it breaks up the monotony. But I'm going to do some updates this week anyway, so people know what's going on. I got those business things that are going on this week. And plus, I want to keep you an update on the ice cream shop as it's doing, if it's growing, if it's the new one. Let people know how that's going. That was another thing too. At the beginning of the TikTok, I talked about the new ice cream shop. Bryan, how Tim was instrumental in getting that going. All the work he did, he did a great job with that. So But anyway, so that's the story with that. Again, thanks for joining me, and I will talk to everybody, next weekend live, but throughout the week, you'll be getting TikToks from me.